Hey guys, so we are back again with another reading, and this one is going to be a relationship reading. So it's perfect for an ex, twin flame, someone you're in separation from, have a crush on, ex-boyfriend or girlfriend, or just any kind of romantic relationship. And if this is your first pick a card reading, you want to head towards the one that your energy is pulling you towards, that you just feel psychically drawn to. That can be the one that first caught your attention with your eyes, or just that when you think about it, you're like, that one. It's usually the first one that you get drawn to. So go with that first instinct. If you're debating, don't overthink it too much. So with that being said, I also want to mention to you guys that I do have my Patreon, a lot of fun readings over there. The last one I posted is all about a tipsy reading about your future spouse. So we had a couple glasses of wine and it's a really fun one. So definitely check that out. Link is in my bio for that. And with that being said, today we have a beautiful selection of crystals for you guys to choose from. So I want to show you guys the numbers on each of the piles. So we are starting off with pile number 1, then we have number 2, number 3, and number 4. So if you guys need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to pause, rewind, take as much time as you need to make up your mind, but we are going to go ahead and jump into pile 1. Hey pile 1, so if you guys picked this green calcite crystal, this is going to be your reading. So for your pick a cards, you guys got You Heal by Releasing, Not Suppressing, and Deep Inward Journey. You'll be rewarded for the work. You guys got some really intense tarot cards, and I'll go over them really quick. The Lovers, the Star, the Knight of Swords, the Devil, the Magician, 2 of Cups, 6 of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. So I can see right away that this was a very intense relationship. I would say soulmate relationship with the Lovers and the 2 of Cups coming out, the 6 of Cups. There's just so much emotional intensity here, and obviously a depth of feeling and emotion. I would say this is definitely like vibes of you were the love of my life. Not saying this is going to be your only love if it's past, or that this was like your one shot. I don't believe that that's true at all, but this would be something that most people would consider very intense, a highlight to them of their life, or something that stays with them for a long time afterwards. I feel like your person and you, I'm seeing like ships passing in the night, or I'm seeing almost like there was so much deep emotion. Some of you guys might still be together with this energy, because I'm not seeing as many negative cards, but how I'm interpreting it and what I'm channeling in this moment for most of you is that you guys are, some of you, in separation, and that there's a lot of reminiscing going on. There's a lot of looking back towards the past, and almost like it was, I'm hearing bad timing, or that you guys were not mature enough to be together at the time, and that your guides separated you is what they're saying to me. That they didn't really want you guys to be together because it wasn't for your greatest and highest good, even though it may have been overwhelming, and you might have wanted that with all your heart and been like, I don't understand, I should be with this person, like my heart is broken. But I feel that there was growth and healing that needed to go on. And this card talks about that, by the way. 8 or 29 might be important to you guys. And it says, you heal by releasing, not suppressing. And it feels like there's healing that needs to happen from this, or already did happen. And with this as well, deep inward journey, you'll be rewarded for the work. I feel this relationship came in to prompt you guys to do some healing work, and nothing is going to bring up your shadow energy more or make you realize that you need to make a change than losing out on something you really want. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever had a situation where someone tries to punish you by taking away something you don't care about. Like for me, I don't eat gluten. So sometimes, I'll show up to a party or something and they're like, oh, I feel so bad. Like everyone already ate all the hors d'oeuvres, and, there's no desserts left. We had pizza and cake and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like, I don't want to go into like, oh, I'm gluten free and I can't eat any of that. But I don't care. Like, it's not a big deal to me. I have no motivation to come to the party early, even if I know there's going to be food there, because I'm like, chances are I'm not going to be able to eat it. I only eat organic and stuff like that. So, why? So I'm not going to be eating that stuff. So yeah, whenever someone's like, oh, make sure you show up because we have this amazing dessert tray, I'm like, I'm not going to eat it. So it doesn't matter to me. Like it means nothing to me. I have zero motivation to show up early. And that's kind of the same thing. It's like sometimes we need to make changes, but there's nothing at stake, right? We're like, whatever, I don't really care about messing my relationship up with this person, with that person. Maybe some of you guys in this deck or this person were a bit of heartbreakers, even where like you did have other relationships and you didn't care. You were like, it didn't work out, whatever, no big deal. And this relationship came in to disrupt you, to cause you pain, because you needed to change some things and switch some things around and learn. And so I do feel like, even though this obviously feels like a big loss and feels really painful, I do feel that it was supposed to happen to you guys. And with the star coming out, I do feel like you guys were guided. This was almost, I'm seeing that this was a amazing part of your life. Like this, I'm seeing that when you guys were together, the emotions were amazing and that you were like overwhelmed by it. Like it was just so good that you couldn't believe it. Like almost like dream relationship. Like people might have been looking on and been like, oh my God, how did you get this person? Or you guys are so amazing together. Like, you know how sometimes like even there'll be a celebrity couple and like two celebrities might start dating, but no one really cares. They're like, oh, they seem awkward together, or like whatever. They're just cool, they're dating, but whatever. And when two celebrities that just seem so in love and the energy is radiating off of them of like soulmate type love, and they just seem so blissful together, you don't even have to be a psychic. Most people have the ability to pick up on that, and they're like intrigued and they want to know everything about those couples. And a lot of times those couples have their privacy invaded. And that's the vibe I'm getting, is like people in your friend group or people who saw you guys together might have been like, oh my God, like, wow, this is something else, because it was like that depth of emotion between you guys. And I feel like you were very happy back then, and that's kind of where there's pain and where there's looking back at that time, is because it's like, oh my gosh, will I ever be that happy again? And I feel like Spirit is saying you will be, and that's something you need to know, is like this was put in your life to make you learn some things. And it's almost like they're saying go back to that time in your life and think about the other things you had going on, because I almost feel like there were other things you guys were happy about. I'm getting for some of you it's like body image issues or something, like you were happier with your body at that time. I don't, that might resonate for some people, not everyone. But like other factors, like your lifestyle, like maybe you were going out more or doing more things with friends or something like that. But I feel like it's like you can recreate that feeling and make yourself feel just as confident and loved and happy and excited as you were with them. And so don't feel like that's the only source of your emotions, but I can see, or the good emotions, but I do see you guys had this really deep spiritual connection. And I feel like almost your person ran away, because with the Knight of Swords, that can show someone who is kind of overly pessimistic a little bit. Swords can be pessimistic energies, and almost someone thinking too logically, almost like maybe both of you were thinking too logically, like intuitively it felt different, but maybe you were in your head about it. Like you were like, I know this person cares about me, but I don't know, they haven't texted me in a day. So you know what? They must not care. You know what I mean? It's almost like you were thinking, and this is always the problem, like whenever we think with our logical brain rather than going with our intuition, it's always a bad move. And almost like your heart was telling you that this was something different, but either you or they were just like listening to your logic instead. Maybe you got scared, and so you started being like, I'm just gonna think rationally about this, it's not that big a deal. And something like that, I feel like it just janked it up. And also your person, I feel like they, again, very, what am I trying to get at? Like very rational. I had this thing in my mind and it just left, and I'm trying to pull it back. I feel like they were very rational about this and almost like didn't want to be in love, or didn't want to be tapped into their emotions, or didn't want to feel deeply. And so they kind of ran off, or they kind of pushed this away, or they kind of told themselves like, I'm going to get over this, whatever. And also they might have had a pessimistic idea of relationships in general. Like maybe their parents are divorced, or they learned some negativity. Maybe they were like in online spaces that were negative towards women or men or whatever, you know, whatever they were, like negative towards the opposite sex or whatever, you know, negative about relationships. So I feel like, yeah, there was like some toxicity here that needed to be learned. I want to get some songs for you guys. Figure out some songs that sum up the vibe of this relationship spirit. All of Me Wants All of You, Sufjan Stevens. Wow. I'm telling you, this is a deep relationship, you guys, starting off with the heavy songs. We got Selfish, Britney Spears. What are the songs for pile one spirit that sum up this relationship? We got Harvest Moon, Neil Young. So there's a very spiritual component to this relationship. I Can't Go For That, Hall & Oates. Okay. I love that song. This Is What You Came For, Taylor Swift and Rihanna. That's who wrote that song, according to me. That's who I think of as that song. Super Bass and Nicki Minaj. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of runner energy. I thought I saw your face today, and definitely I feel like this person thinks of you a lot. I feel like they're still in their feelings, like kind of looking out for you or hoping you're going to come back. But with I Can't Go For That and Selfish, I feel like there's a message here that there was something selfish, or there was some moment of being like, I don't want to put up with this, or I don't want to do this, or almost like someone making an excuse or coming up with a reason why. Like, I'm almost feeling like this person too, they might have had control in their other relationships and they couldn't control you. And it's almost like they got offended by that. I'm hearing, and I took that personally. So it's like, maybe something where they had this idea of relationships that were kind of unfair. Like, oh, I should always be the one in control of relationships, or in this relationship, I should always be treated like this, or in a relationship, the man should always call the shots, or in a relationship, the woman should always call the shots, or whatever was going on. And I almost feel like there was a vibe here of like, I'm not putting up with this. You know what I mean? And it might have even been something small, or I'm not going to put myself out there like that, or like, I don't want to get emotionally invested in this. Like, someone just almost, like I said, making excuses or telling themselves that like it's not that big of a deal, it's not that special, and then running off. And I feel that, first of all, this person is acknowledging that you're very attractive with the Devil card as well. You can see she's a beautiful woman on this deck, and I feel like you are very attractive to them. And also with This Is What You Came For, the lyrics are, and everybody's watching her, but she's looking at you. And so I feel like you guys are kind of center of attention. We got the Star as well. And I feel like this person is acknowledging that you're very beautiful with a very beautiful face. And it's like, I think a lot of people want you. I think a lot of people are after you, and almost like that might have worked against this relationship, where this person might have gotten jealous or been like, you know what, screw it. I want someone who is worshiping me. I don't want to have to compete for this person. I'm seeing like the phrase spy versus spy in my mind. So I feel like that means, because I've never seen that, but I feel like that means like both of you guys were kind of similar in that sense. Like, both of you like to call the shots, or both of you are attractive, and both of you have had kind of like you got to call the shots, you know, you got to have the run of things in your relationships. You got to be the one in the power position always. So when you met each other, it's kind of like you met your match. Like, suddenly you're like, oh, I have to compromise. Wait a minute. I don't know about that. I'm not used to that. And that might have been what caused this to end. But the message about the truth of this situation is that, like, this is something, in a way, it's like, just be willing to release, because I do feel that this is something that was spiritual in nature, but you're going to have something even better. And if you guys are supposed to reunite, you guys will. But I also feel like you guys are very spiritual in this pile. I'm getting that message really strongly. Master manifestors. And it's funny because we got green calcite, and that is a healing stone that heals the heart chakra. And so I feel like for a lot of you guys, and it specifically relates to Cancer, Virgo, and Capricorn, which is kind of all like healers. And I feel like a lot of you guys might have those signs. I'm being told to mention that. So maybe you guys have those signs, or you're just healers in general, because I feel like there's something where you heal other people, or both of you might have those signs and you heal others, but it's almost like you need to be doing that healing work with yourself. I'm hearing the message that some of you guys beat yourselves up about this relationship because you're like, oh my God, why didn't it work out? Or it was my fault or something like that. And Spirit is saying like, no, no, no. You need to be okay with it ending and understand that you did everything you could for it, and that if things ended, then that's like you didn't do anything that bad. They really want you to know that. I feel like some of you guys, I'm hearing beating yourself up for something about this. Like you can't move on because you're like, I screwed it up, or I did something, and they're like, what you did is not that bad. And almost like in the right relationship with the right person, they're gonna overlook whatever you did, which I don't even think was that bad. Like, I'm not getting the vibe that you guys did something horrible. I'm not seeing like Seven of Swords or something in here. I don't think you guys did something catastrophically awful, like, you know, told some huge lie or cheated. I feel like you guys, again, it's like maybe you're a Virgo, or you're a Cancer, or you're a Capricorn, all signs that are kind of hard on themselves too. And maybe you're hard on yourself and you kind of are like, oh, I should have healed them. I should have done something. I should have changed this. And it's like, you did everything you could. And again, with the right person, it's going to flow. You're not going to have to beat yourself up. You're not going to have to be desperately hoping that like, please forgive me. Like, I hope I didn't mess up. Like, it's going to be easy, you know, and the person is going to forgive you. Like, I think of like my closest friendships, and some of the stuff, like literally some of the stuff that has gotten down, like, or like the amount of times that like one of us has gotten mad and blocked the other person and been like, I'm not talking to you. And then like a couple months later rolls around and you call them and you're like, hey, and you know, and you expect maybe they're going to like be really mad at you, but they just pick up the phone and everything's cool. And they're like, hey, you know, what are you doing? What have you been up to? And everything's like, and I'm not saying there should be dysfunctional behaviors tolerated, but with the right people, I have found with the right relationships that are for you, they'll always be for you. I had to refilm that because I said a bad word, but anyway, I was saying you almost can't mess it up where, you know, there's so much forgiveness and love and understanding, and also both sides hopefully are bringing their best to the table, right? Both sides are probably trying to act nice to the other, trying to treat them with respect, trying to treat them nicely. And so those things don't, I think it just flows. But if there is someone like doing something annoying, something small, you know, maybe with someone else, you don't, if you don't like them as much, you would be like, I'm done with this person. But with someone you really care about, when they do that annoying thing, you're going to talk to them and be like, hey, like that was annoying. And, or you're just going to overlook it. You know what I mean? And so I almost feel like for some of you guys, your person got mad about something really small. And the message is like, with the right person in the future, it's not going to be a problem like that. It's just going to flow so easy. It's going to be so perfect. It's not going to be a situation where you're forced to constantly apologize or tiptoe around or walk on eggshells. So that's the message I'm just channeling for you guys. I want to get some more cards. So we got Inner Child, Look in a Book, Wisdom, and Transformation. So I feel like you guys were supposed to transform from this relationship. And I'm also getting this vibe, honestly, this is, I don't know, might come across as like condescending or something, but for some of you guys that like, it's almost like your person was less mature than you. And with Look in a Book, Inner Child, like I feel like you're honestly more intelligent than them, or not intelligent, but like wiser. Like you're very wise. And I think that you guys have a very quiet wisdom. And again, I was channeling Capricorn, Cancer, and Virgo. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you're just very wise old souls, and almost like your person is a little bit younger or a little more immature. There might have even been some trauma that happened to them that like stunted them or something, because trauma can do that. You know, we can change that, transmute trauma, but we have to like be actively doing shadow work to do that. I feel like it's almost that you were kind of looking after them, or you were in the mother role, or you were in the father role, and kind of like they weren't as willing to learn to look in a book as you were. Like, I feel like you guys were willing to really do some deep soul searching after this and be like, what did I do wrong? How can I change this? You were very actively wanting to fix things, to be the best you could be. And I just don't see them being as cooperative. I see them taking the easy way out and doing what's easy for them. Almost like they're very self, or not just self-focused, but what is it? Temporary, ephemeral, like in the moment. Like they're very living in the moment type of energy with the Ace of Cups. Like it's like, what is making me feel good right now? You know what I mean? Not like long lasting, but like, do I feel good now? Okay, then I like it. Do I feel bad now? Then it's horrible. When the reality is, like, when you grow up and get disciplined, you realize that, anything in life involves feeling bad in the moment. Like sometimes I don't feel like filming my tarot readings just because, for whatever reason. Sometimes you do need to take a break, but sometimes you're just like, it's like you're putting something off for whatever reason, and you just gotta go and do it, and maybe you don't want to do it right then, but ultimately you will benefit from it and other people will benefit from it. And that's part of life, is like doing things you don't want to do, getting up in the morning and working out or eating healthy or whatever. And I feel like this person, almost like there was work needed to be done on this relationship, and at the first sign of work, they kind of ran off. They couldn't deal with it. And again, I see you guys really taking this situation and thinking about, how can I transmute it? How can I grow from it? How can I benefit from it? What could I have done different? And really doing soul searching. And I just don't see them doing that. I see them being very self-centered and kind of childish. But I do feel like this relationship was put in both your paths to help you grow, but I don't necessarily see them doing it. I'll be honest. I think some of them might have ran off to other relationships, or like gotten in a relationship quick. And you might have been wondering, like, oh, did they not care about me? Like how can someone get engaged after a year after a breakup, or like 3 months after a breakup? How can they be engaged? You know what I mean? And it's like, no, they just were, again, they're very, I keep hearing ephemeral and temporary and temporal and very like momentary focused. Like they're in the moment. Like, I feel good right now, then it's good. I feel bad right now, then it's bad. When, of course, all things in life, studying feels bad in the moment, but benefits us long term. So I just think they're not really very disciplined, and they're not willing to do the work, and you were. And I feel like you guys, a lot of you in this pile, you've taken it down a spiritual path, and you've allowed it to really go into like deep self growth. And I feel like your guides are really pleased with that, and really acknowledging that they've seen you do the work and you have transformed from it. I want to get some astro dice for pile 1. We got Jupiter, aka the 9th house, aka Sag. We got 4th house, aka Cancer, aka the moon, which I've been picking up on throughout this reading. And we got Leo, so the sun and the 5th house. So those, I can see that this relationship felt like a bright burst of light for you guys, like the sun finally coming up in the morning. And I feel like the message that I want to channel through to you guys is that you are that sun. You are that light. You can access it at any time. And it's not to say we don't need a relationship, because obviously we can benefit from, being around someone else. But I do feel like it's like you can choose to be that highest, best, happiest version of yourself at any time. And you might think back about, why was I so attached to this person? What else was going on in my life at that time? Was I really confident in how I looked? And if so, why? What's changed? Why am I not confident now? How can I get myself back to feeling as confident as I felt then? Or was it that my social life was really packed? If so, how can I get it popping again? Was it I really liked my career at that time? Well, how can I get back my career into something that's fun, that I really enjoy and feel positive about? So I feel like whatever that is, it's like the message is that it's from you. How I'm just hearing that phrase from like a horror film, that's like the calls coming from inside the house. I feel like some of you guys, you look back and you idealize your time with this person. And I do see that it was a deep soulmate love, but almost like, keep in mind, we can attract whatever we want whenever we want. So you can attract this again. Like I feel like what the magician spirit is, they want you to know this for sure. And they are saying you might have manifested this. I feel like if I asked some of you guys, sat you down one-on-one, and you were telling me about what you were doing before you met this person, I'm feeling like some of you guys manifested them. Like you were either really into like I don't know, some of you guys were scripting, you were writing, your affirmations at the time, or maybe, sometimes we manifest unconsciously. So sometimes if someone gets obsessed with like a certain romantic movie, and they just watch it over and over and over, and then next thing they know, they find someone who resembles or has the personality of the main character come into their life, for better or worse. Sometimes they're not ready and they're like, what's going on? Or they love a certain book that's romantic, and then the next thing they know, they find themselves in that relationship dynamic. That's why you need to be careful and not read too many of the like dark, dark forbidden love that can't happen, because those relationships can manifest too. So I know those can be like fun to listen to or watch, but you might want to stick to like the Hallmark films, but then again, all those movies are about like some lady leaving her career to be with like a Christmas tree farmer guy. And I'm always like, why did she have to leave her job as a lawyer? How are they going to pay these bills? But anyway, that's me overthinking, but you might manifest that. So you want to be careful to what you take in terms of the love stories. But I feel like some of you guys were watching stuff like that, or you were in a very lovey-dovey vibe, maybe listening to love music, and it's like you manifested that. So you can do it again. If you did it once, you can do it again. And also, like, you might not even need that relationship. It might be other things. It might have been you were just really confident, feeling good about yourself, working out every day, or, just feeling really confident in your physical reality. Maybe you were, doing your hair every day in a certain way, or whatever it is, you guys were feeling yourselves, and you can choose to be back to that at any point in time. So let's get some more cards. So we got the Hawk Prince, spirit communication, paying attention, the Metal King, discipline, armor, boundaries, the resting tree, patience, stillness. So I do feel like you guys had or have spiritual communication back and forth. You guys definitely have, there's a spiritual dimension to this with the Two of Cups. And the Lovers, of course, I definitely feel like you are very connected on a deep, deep level. And with the Six of Cups, I definitely think they think about you, they miss you, they kind of reminisce about you. And I feel like almost saying something with the Metal King again. I feel like that, see, this is what I was saying. I was saying discipline. And again, when I'm pulling, I forget the cards I pull and I'm just like channeling. But you guys have more discipline than them is what I'm getting. And almost like you might have put in some discipline and they reacted badly to it. Like maybe you tried to put down some boundaries. Like, sometimes maybe it's like a hookup situation and then you're like, listen, this isn't really working for me and like I want to go on a date, and then they ran. And again, I'm almost feeling like it was like power struggle or something. Like their ego got wounded, or you tried to like put down some regimented whatever. Like I feel like you guys had a lot more discipline than they did, and they might have even used that against you or tried to paint that as a negative. Like, oh, you're acting like a mom, or you're acting like a dad, or like, oh, just take it easy, just be chill. And I feel like your guides want you to know that nothing you asked for was out of line. You weren't acting crazy. You were doing what you should, which is advocate for yourself. And like I said, I have found in my relationships that have lasted the longest is that I can sit down and tell them, when something's bothering me, or be like, listen, I didn't like that you said that. And they'll, like, obviously I'm not doing that all the time. It's not like I want to be like someone's nanny and constantly scolding them. But if something really, really, I feel the need to bring something up, I can gently kind of be like, listen, like, you need to be better about XYZ. And they'll at least make an effort. You know what I mean? And they're not going to run off or kind of do the equivalent of throwing a temper tantrum where it's like, you're not going to tell me what to do, where they'll be like, okay, like I understand you feel that way. And, and even I feel this, but I just feel like this person it's almost like they got offended that you would ask them something like that. How dare you try to control me kind of vibe. And I don't feel like you guys were controlling. So maybe you take some guilt with that of like, why did I do that? Or why did I say that? And I feel like your guides want you to know you didn't do anything wrong. You really didn't. I wouldn't be surprised if this person comes back to you in the future, but I'm really seeing the vibe of you guys not being so interested, like them strolling back in a long time. And then you're like, are you kidding me? Dude, it's been 20 years or something. I don't feel like they're going to come by anytime soon, to be honest, because it feels like they're immature. Like I said, like you have the discipline. You guys have been willing to do the growth. I don't think they have. And I see in the future, maybe it's like they finally get around to doing it 50 years down the line. And by the time they come in, you're in like the nursing home and you're like, no, I have my nursing home boyfriend. He has all his teeth. I don't want you. I don't know. I feel like this person's going to take a while to like finally wake up and realize things. And I don't know if you're going to be so interested by the time that occurs. Yeah, let me get our final cards from these decks. I almost didn't use these, but I thought it was so funny. So we got serendipity, the distorted feminine, and the distorted masculine. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what it is like this relationship came in as a growth opportunity. It really was a growth opportunity. And with, you know, the distorted feminine, distorted masculine, I feel like both of you guys had growth to do. I'm not saying you were totally perfect and they were the totally messed up one. I feel like both of you guys had dysfunctions in other ways, but you were more disciplined. I feel like you guys were more willing to put in the work, kind of, and they are just not. And I feel like you've done a lot of positive growth since then and really been willing to look at your flaws and be honest about them and be like, you know, I can improve here, or what can I do there? And I don't think this person has. I don't think they're willing to do that. I think they kind of have an unchecked ego. And, you know, we did get the devil card, which can talk about that. And, it's almost like they wanted someone to just adore them and take whatever and never talk back. And maybe they found someone who's willing to do that, but that's generally not the most satisfying type of relationship at all. It's very distorted when it's that one-sided power balance. So, and generally anyone who would sign up for that kind of not going to be the cream of the crop. You know what I mean? Like most people that would just sign up for a one-sided relationship probably have issues of their own, whether it's self-esteem or just whatever's going on. It's not the best vibe. So I do feel like the relationship they are in, if they're in another relationship, is probably just serving their ego's needs. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of sad and might crash and burn at some point. With serendipity, I feel like, again, they kind of fantasize about running into you. I do think this person's very ego driven, and it's almost like they don't want you to know how much they think of you, how much they miss you, how much you left an effect on them. And they are very scared of vulnerability. And so I feel that they would love a scenario where like you randomly run into them on the weekend at, you know, a random coffee shop, or you bump into them in the park, or like they would love that. Even more if they could show off like their partner and be like, oh, she's in love with me, or he's in love with me. They really would want you to see them and kind of like they want to make you regret it, to be honest. I know that's not very evolved, so I'm sorry if that's hurtful, but they want to kind of not cause you pain, but like, again, they're very ego driven and they want to be the one who like comes out on top, I feel. And I don't, yeah, it's like their emotions are very much in it, but I also just feel like I'm hearing you did a number on them too. Like they feel like you've broken their heart or something, and now it's like they kind of want revenge. Let me get some message cards for pile one. But they would love to run into you and then like things restart somehow. Oh, wait, that one, I don't trust these. Let me get some more message cards for pile one. I hate shuffling these because they're like such an odd shape, this little heart. Okay, deep in your heart, you already know the answer. Do what feels right. Hate when they're not that helpful. Like, what the heck does this mean? Balance. Love is not always about agreeing just for the sake of it. Oh my God. That's exactly what I was saying. Okay, thank you. I love this. So this makes up for this. Love is not always about agreeing for the sake of it. A great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. And that's what I was saying, is with the right person, they are going to love you challenging them. Not obviously in a toxic, dysfunctional way of like someone who's like picking at someone. But I don't think you guys were doing that. I feel like you guys just wanted them to like step up slightly, or there were adjustments that needed to be made because their behavior was a little dysfunctional. I almost feel like this person, I'm seeing boundary pushing or something, or trying to like get under your skin, or trying to again, it's like it's like a little kid's voice that I keep hearing of like, you can't tell me what to do kind of vibe. And I almost feel like when you would try to put down normal things in the relationship, like, okay, let's be exclusive, committed. What's going on? We've been together a couple months, like what's happening? Or maybe if this was like a crush that never turned into a relationship, like you're like, okay, well, you can't just text me at 2 a.m. asking me, like sending me the WYD text, what you doing? Like you need to like set up a plan to talk to me. And this person almost would like take umbrage at that and be upset and be like offended, like, well, I'm going to do what I want to do. And they just didn't want to even compromise and meet you halfway. And in the right relationship, the person's going to be totally okay with compromising. They're going to be coming correct. They're going to be wanting to treat you right from the jump. They're not going to be acting dysfunctional, because like, it's not that hard to be non-dysfunctional. You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're not acting crazy, you're not going to be dysfunctional. And with the right relationship, like I said, it flows. I don't know if there was dysfunction in some of this, like this person drinking too much, possibly using illegal substances. That might have been the case for some of them, but it's like whatever you were trying to lay down the law about, like they want you to know that you were well within your rights, and that whatever you were trying to like push them about, you were doing the right thing. And again, I almost feel like they got mad and kind of scolded you for that. But then they made you feel like the scold and made you feel like you were asking too much. And yeah, oh, I didn't even talk about the rest of the astro dice, but we did get Jupiter, and that rules Sag and ninth house. So again, learning, that's a major theme for you guys from this relationship. These might have also been their aspects. They might have had Leo, Sagittarius, or Cancer, or those might be your signs as well. I'm also getting Virgo. I'm also getting Capricorn. And some other signs as well. But I feel like with Leo, again, you guys are the star, and you guys are this bright light. Maybe that's why they were offended and their ego got wounded, is because it's like, oh my God, they're so beautiful, they're so attractive, and I'm like, it brought out their insecurity. You know, it made them feel less than. With fourth house Cancer, you guys might have taken on a motherly role to them, and then they got mad about it. They're like, why are you telling me what to do? And you're like, because you put me in this role as like your de facto mom. Like, what the heck? What am I supposed to do? You know? It's definitely not your fault. And your guides want you to know that you definitely didn't do anything bad. And I feel like in the right relationship, it is going to just flow so easily for you guys. And you're not going to be having to stress out about this. And yeah, let me get some more cards for pile one, just a final message from their person. Let's see what the final message is. Okay, let's take these. Wait, don't rush into it. Allow nature to take its course, and reflection. Give each other some space at the moment. Trust and have faith that all will work out for the best. And that's the message. Is I feel like some of you guys, it's like you were really hurt by this relationship, and maybe you're like, are they going to come back or whatever? And I feel like the message is just to kind of leave this behind, to be honest, for a lot of you guys, and be open to something in the future. Because I feel like with the right person, or even if it's with this person, you know, they would have to come back changed, and with the right kind of energy in the relationship, it just flows. It's not to say you don't have any issues and there's not things to talk about and discuss and be like, you know, I need to change this about myself, you need to change that, and we both work through our own issues separately. But there's understanding, there's patience, it's not like at the first mistake I'm out, you know what I mean? And so I feel like you have done a lot of positive growth from this relationship, and you need to know that and acknowledge that and understand that for yourself, that like you've done so much growth from this and you're coming out of it so much better. So don't be like, oh, it was a waste, or this was my one shot. No, like I feel like now you guys are so much more powerful, so much more in your power, and you're gonna be so much more capable of having an amazing relationship that gives you everything you need and serves all your needs. And so just take this as it was a learning opportunity, and I think you guys are gonna have another amazing, amazing relationship. But like this said, you know, a great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. And in the right relationship, you're going to be able and willing to have those disagreements and to work through them and to give the other grace and understanding. And I don't feel like this person extended that to you. I feel like they kind of cut and run at the first opportunity, and that is 100% on them. And I think you guys should give yourselves a big round of applause and a pat on the back for all the growth and soul work and shadow work you guys have done as a result of this relationship, where I feel like in the future, like you're going to be incredible partner because of the learning you've done from this. So yeah, I think even though there's a lot of pain here, you guys have, like I said, learned so much, and there's so much positivity to take away from this. So yeah, I think that's the messages I got for you guys, pile one. Definitely let me know what was going on here in the comments. I'm definitely curious about this pile. Make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up as well, and turn on those notifications and subscribe so you can find out when I post. And also check out my Patreon. The link is in my bio for that. And I post additional readings over there. The last one that I did is a tipsy reading all about your future spouse. So it's a lot of fun. So definitely check that out if you want to join us over there. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. And I hope you all have an amazing day and take care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Pile 3, so if you guys picked this clear crystal quartz, this is going to be your reading. So for your pick a card, you guys got come together, we need each other, and eliminate distractions, stop shining light on things you are not. And for your tarot, you got the 7 of Wands, the Hermit, 5 of Pentacles, the Knight of Cups, 2 of Wands, 3 of Swords, 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and the Star. So the message I'm getting for a lot of you guys is that some of your relationship issues with this person might have come up as a result of their own lack of self-esteem, and almost like they saw you as very beautiful, very attractive, and in a way that might have actually worked against this relationship, because I'm seeing them putting you up on a pedestal. I believe your energy is coming down here as the 10 of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, the Star. So center of attention vibes, Queen, Princess, or reverse it around to king, prince vibes, but they see you as possibly kind of bougie or having your life together in a deep way. Keep in mind that the pentacles are also tend to be responsible, determined, down to earth. They get their stuff done. They have their act together. And this person might have felt like a dysfunctional mess in comparison with them coming out as the Hermit, 5 of Pentacles, excuse me. And there also might have been an energy of jealousy or competition with them with the 7 of Wands, where they might have perceived them as having a lot of romantic rivals for your attention, and having a lot of other people who wanted your attention and who had crushes on you, and where you had a lot of options to date. And I'm seeing that, whereas a lot of people would get energized by that and be invigorated by like, wow, I can't believe I landed this person that is the Star, Queen of Pentacles, and has so many people after them. This person was very insecure about it, and they took it very personally and were very upset and kind of got into a low self-esteem energy about like, oh my God, I'm never going to compare to them and I can't compete. Oh, there's no point in trying. I do feel like this person might have low self-esteem in general, or maybe even something like anxiety, even depression, but it just seems like they're in a low energy place with themselves, and they're really not able to bring in that excited, strong energy that you would take, especially if this is a masculine. This would be more of that distorted masculine, not divine masculine. It might even be someone who, if they are a masculine, I think they would be suffering from something like low testosterone or something like that. Might even be like a physical health issue where they just don't have the kind of, I'm not going to say a certain word, but they don't have the energy or the bravery to approach you in the way you would need to actually, put themselves out there and ask you out and make this relationship work. It feels like there's a lot of fear for them coming through, and they also might keep themselves in a kind of distracted state. I'm seeing like Neptune energy coming through, and I do feel like it might be a vibe of them playing video games, distracting themselves on the internet, or going into kind of a dream realm, or not being based in physical reality, whereas it feels like you guys are pretty disciplined. I'm not saying you guys are necessarily like, you know, the biggest boss babe ever, but I feel like you guys at least get your stuff done, and there's a level of discipline and being grounded in reality here, whereas it seems like they are very kind of escaping like the reality and going into another dimension, and that could be through something like video games, or you know, kind of existing in a fantasy realm, or even something like, you know, abusing substances sometimes is that energy. But it just feels like for a lot of them, they weren't able to muster up, like I said, the courage. And I do feel like a lot of them are saying to me, their higher self is saying to me, that they did indeed perceive it as you having other suitors and other people after you. So whether that's the case or not, I don't know. But I'm getting the vibe for a lot of you guys that you did. I feel like if you're honest, you're like, yeah, there were some other people who were interested in me. And I feel like this person was aware of that. So I don't know, you know, sometimes it can just be like on your Instagram, you have some random followers that will leave like a heart reaction under your, you know, post, but that could be enough to make them feel like, oh, I have no shot. So, you know, I think it's funny that this card says eliminate distractions, stop shining light on things you are not. I think that's the message for them, and that this is talking about how things went wrong for them, because I feel like they were spending a lot of time in a low vibrational energy thinking about the things they weren't, rather than thinking about the things they did bring to the table and all their strengths and all the positives they had to offer you. It was like a very distorted energy of just feeling very sad and kind of feeling sorry for themselves and just not feeling good enough. And they needed someone like me, to be honest, to give them a little bit of a pep talk and tell them like, get in gear, let's go, stop being so scared. And but they didn't have that, and I feel like they were very scared to approach you. I feel like they were very scared to take a risk and put themselves out there, but they did feel very drawn to you. I'm getting that you guys had some really deep conversations, and almost like I'm hearing no one understood me like they did. So I feel like you were this person that really connected with them on such a deep level. And with the Hermit, I'm getting that that's rare for them, that they don't often feel that level of connection. I feel like for a lot of them, they might not even have like a huge social circle, or if they do, that it's with people that they really can't talk to about the deep stuff. Whereas it feels like you guys had a very deep understanding, with you really seeing them to their core, seeing who they were down to a soul level, not just seeing the surface of things. And that was very healing for them. So I do feel like with the imagery on this card, you can see this man is staring down at this photo of this woman and just reminiscing as he's alone. And I do feel like this is something that would happen a lot, or does happen currently with this person to you. They might be looking at your photos on Instagram or on social media, but I feel like they reminisce a lot, but they do perceive you as either being in another current relationship right now, or that you would just have a lot of opportunities. But they keep bringing this up to me, is that you're with someone else, something like you either moved on, or you were flirting with other people around them. They keep saying like they did. They're very sure about that. So I don't know if you guys were, or this was just their perception. Obviously, I can tell they have a little bit of low self-esteem, so it could just be something they kind of, you know, made up in their minds a little bit. But according to them, you were with other people. So that's, I think, a main factor in them not stepping forward and this relationship flourishing the way it could have. So let's get some more cards. So we got nature's signs, flourish, and healing. And this is your energy right here. Flourish. You guys were flourishing. They perceive you as someone who is flourishing, someone who has so much to bring to the table. And it's kind of like, they're like, why would they ever want to be with me? Like, are you kidding? Is this a joke? Is this like She's All That, you know, where they played that prank and the whole thing was like a bet? Like, that's, I feel like they could not believe that someone like you, I don't know if you're, because I keep having them bring up like popularity or friends and stuff like that. I don't know if you were more popular or socially connected or something, or they were, I don't know, but I'm getting they're kind of like the Hermit, and a lot of them keep to themselves, and they see you as being more socially skilled than them, is what I'm getting. Socially connected, or having more friends than them, and I feel they feel a little out of their depth in that realm. So they might not consider themselves to be a super sociable person. Maybe you're a little more talkative and bubbly than them, or maybe you're like, I'm not that talkative and bubbly, but I just talk to them. or I know what to say to them, but they perceive you as being very socially dynamic and like you have a lot of friends, a lot of people interested in you. Like I said, kind of not necessarily life of the party, but at least compared to them, that you're that way. Like you always have people around you, people really like you. And I just feel like there's something about others competing for you coming through really strong, and kind of like the people you hang out with would judge them. So even if they have a lot of friends, it's something where the group you're in has their ish together more than their group. Again, with this Neptunian energy, I don't know if some of them drink too much or something like that, but it feels like your group has their head screwed on a lot straighter, and you're not the type necessarily to, like, I don't want to say they feel like a mess because I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I feel like, yeah, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I like this person's energy. They feel very sweet, but it does feel like they escape a lot. I feel like they would play video games, watch movies, just lose the day, like being online all the time. And they're not grounded. They don't have a grounding in reality. And there's this big comparison because I feel like you guys are the type that they would at least expect that you would need to be taken out to like a 5-star restaurant, and you would be dating, like I'm hearing pro athletes for some reason. I don't know if some of you guys have dated that or that's just this person's perception, but it's like they would perceive you as the creme de la creme, like you would have whatever option you could possibly want. So why would you ever want to be with them? I feel this person needed to do a lot of healing on this, and they're growing through a lot of this themselves, but I think that's the main reason. Let me get some song energy for pile 2. Can we get the song energy for pile 2? We want to know what kind of songs sum up this relationship for pile 2. So we got, this is what you came for. Oh my God. And that literal lyric in this song is, and everybody's watching her, but she's looking at you. And that's exactly what I'm saying, is they perceive you as the center of attention. And like so many people would want to date you, and everybody's watching her. That's the line, but she's looking at you, and they're like baffled. They're like, wait, why is she looking at me? Like I don't have my life together at all. I was a fool, Tegan and Sarah. Wow. So maybe they're reminiscing and feeling pretty bad about how they acted. She's So Lovely, Beach House. Okay, that title's kind of self-explanatory. Love at First Sight, Kylie Minogue. Oh my God. As I was preparing for this reading, I don't always do this, but I just was like shuffling cards and I put some music on shuffle, and this song came up, Love at First Sight, and I was told by Spirit to mention this song, but I just forgot it because I was like getting my camera arranged and stuff. And so this is crazy. So this is double confirmed. So they definitely fell in love at first sight when they saw you. Wow. But I feel like they almost didn't take that seriously, because they're like, anyone would fall in love with them at first sight. Like everyone would, because like, hello, look at them. God Only Knows by the Beach Boys. Wow. Their feelings are very deep for you. Love My Way by the Psychedelic Furs, and these both want to come out, and they say Sweet Talkin' Woman, Electric Light Orchestra, and You're Still the One by Shania Twain. So Sweet Talkin' Woman, that's what I'm saying, is like they perceive you as being very socially skilled. They perceive you as someone who might even have a silver tongue and be very like good with your words, good with talking to people, very sociably well adapted and good at different, you're a people person, kind of. You are good in conversation. A lot of people like you. You might have even, if you met them in school, you might have been teacher's pet, or like, if you met them at work, you might have been that person that they put out front for every presentation and always gets promoted and the boss loves you. They just see you as like, wow, like they just are kind of like Mary Tyler Moore vibes, how she's just like throwing her hat up in the opening scene and everyone's like, she can turn isn't it? This is so weird, this coming to mind, but they say she can turn the world on with her smile, and she can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile. I'm not going to sing the whole song, but I just feel like it's like that scene where like she's spinning around and then throws her hat up, like, and she's just this beautiful girl running through the city, and just everything, she just seems like perfect. That's like you guys. Like, I feel like you guys are kind of like that girl, you know, the phrase that girl, like you have your ish together. And I feel like you guys are smart. I feel like you guys honestly make a good impression. I feel like you guys are disciplined to a certain extent. Like, even if you're like, I'm not that disciplined, you're smart enough to make up for it. You know what I mean? You're smart enough to, like, if someone's like, wait, the homework was due, you can BS your way into pretending, like, to finishing it up in 10 minutes. Like, you're just, you got a lot going on. And I do feel like there was a lot of intimidation here of like, is this a prank? Like, why would this girl be into me? You know, why would anyone like that want to date me? And I feel like this person had a fear of rejection. They were sure and they were confident that if they did approach you, that you would reject them and you would not be interested. It's funny because Love My Way by the Psychedelic Furs, I know that was written about, well, I don't know if it was specifically written about this, but I think it was. But it's definitely a song that kind of has to do with like gay relationships, or this is one of the themes, I guess, of, I'm not sure exactly if it was specifically written about this or it's just a theme associated with it, but I think it was written for this, of like gay relationships at a time when everyone was judging them. So it's Love My Way, as in like, I'm gonna love who I want in my way and I don't care what you think about it. And I do feel like there's some energy here about this person being outside the box. And so with that coming to mind, maybe some of you guys might be in it. There are also Tegan and Sarah coming out. This might be for some of you guys, like maybe a gay relationship, maybe same-sex relationship. But I also feel like either way, it's definitely something where they feel like they are a little bit different. You know what I mean? They feel like they stick out in some way, or they feel like they don't just go along with like what everyone else is doing and like they're outside some kind of box that they were supposed to fit into. And I feel like you see that in them, but you love that and appreciate that. But there's a real strong feeling here of them just questioning, like, why would they like me? They could be with anyone. This is crazy. This doesn't make sense. And I do feel like they fell in love at first sight, because this is bizarre. I have like thousands of songs on my computer. So I mean, like, there's no reason why this would come up twice. So they definitely fell in love at first sight. But I think there's an energy here of them kind of not taking that as seriously, because I think, again, you are very physically attractive. And again, this is your physical attraction working against you, where maybe if you weren't so cute and they fell in love at first sight, they would take it more seriously. But because you guys are really beautiful, they're kind of like, oh, everyone probably falls in love with them. Yeah, duh. Like, look at them. You know what I mean? Like, it's like when someone says, oh, I fell in love with like Cindy Crawford or like Naomi Campbell or, you know, I don't know, Eva Herzegovina or whoever, you know, people are going to be like, duh, yeah, those are like supermodels. And so like Kate Moss, like, yeah, of course you fell in love at first sight. Like, that just means you're, you know, you have eyes. And so I feel like with this person, like that kind of, they felt like, I don't even know if my feelings are real or not, because they're just really cute. And of course I'm going to like them and everyone likes them. And I feel like they were running from their emotions a lot. Okay, so we also got the Desert Prince, Survival, False Promises, the Spirit Whisperer, Divine Guidance, Higher Knowing, and the Lady of the Gift, Generosity, Receiving, Withholding. So that's definitely, again, your energy. I don't know if some of you guys even might have paid for them in some way, or just they perceive you as having more money than them. But I feel like also you're very sweet, kind, generous, or with your time is how they perceive you. Like, I feel like you guys are the person that you would come up to like a random homeless person and talk to them, or you would be really nice and go out of your way to talk to like anyone who is sitting alone. You guys are just really sweethearts, you know? And I feel like because of that, again, this energy of them just not taking it as seriously and being like, yeah, of course, like they probably feel sorry for me. That's probably why they're talking to me, is like, yeah, I'm probably like a charity case to them, you know, and just not being able to see themselves as in any way desirable or in any way being good enough for you. I feel like with the Desert Prince coming out again, this is just, to me, an energy of someone that like is in lack, doesn't have enough, is just trying to survive. And I feel like they see you thriving and they're like, I'm like a pauper and they're like a princess. Like, this is not, those two don't go together. You know what I mean? Like, I'm down here, they're up here. This is not how the love story happens. This is not a match. And but I feel like you guys, it's funny because like I said, I really love their energy actually. They're very sweet. They are really sweet. And I don't usually say that. Y'all know I will be very brutally honest about some of these dysfunctional people and the problems. I've warned people off about like don't be with this person in my readings, but this person is really sweet. And I just feel like they're a little dysfunctional. I wish they could watch some of my readings and I could give them some advice because I think I could whip them into shape maybe or like help them, give them some tips because it's like I can see why you guys are drawn to them. They have a lot of potential. And it's just like I think they need to like stop like playing video games all the time and stop the dysfunctional stuff. Like I don't know, there's something here with them. They just need to like glow up. They need like some higher self-esteem. Maybe they need to be eating a little healthier so that their hormones are more balanced. I don't know, but I just feel like what's underneath all this is a really sweet heart and they're really lovely down underneath that. And I feel like you guys are too. So I can see why you guys are drawn together. Like it's like both of you guys are very sweet, kind, compassionate. And that's what you guys have in common. You actually have a lot in common. They just are looking at all the surface stuff and they're like, no, they're better than me. But actually, deep down on a soul level, you guys are very, very, very united. And I can see why you kind of can't quit them, is what's coming to mind. It's another gay movie. So I don't know. There's that theme throughout this. I don't know. Maybe there must be some, gay couples in this pile in particular, because that keeps coming up for me. But I feel like you guys, yeah, I could even see this being like past life energy, like you guys knowing each other in a past life, because you just seem like you guys both have a very similar soul type of bond, a very soft, sweet side to you. I can see that you guys probably do have that kind of spiritual connection where randomly songs will come up that remind you of the person, just like they kind of controlled my music right before this reading. But I feel like they might send you channeled songs or you just might get spiritual downloads about them. There's a lot of water energy I feel in this pile on their side and on your side a little bit too. And I want to get some astro dice for you guys. So we also got Venus, Pisces, and the 11th house. And that's so the vibe that I'm picking up on, like perfect. With Pisces, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And I mentioned Neptune a bunch of times, which rules over Pisces, 12th house as well. And 12th house is the house of all this energy is like psychic energy, really divine wisdom, very, very compassionate and loving, but also it can be escapism. Sometimes it can be using substances to escape reality. It can be escapism in any form. So being even a little delusional or not seeing things clearly, fog, mist type energy. And I feel like that's how they saw things. I feel like they didn't see things as clearly as they should have, and they kind of were pessimistic, and again they removed themselves from reality. Like it's almost like they just do that as a habit. Like I feel like they might have had a hard life or had things that were difficult for them, and instead of kind of facing it head on, they got into the habit of like, well, I'm just going to play video games after school every day, or I'm just going to like read different animes and just absorb myself in that world to never leave, or I'm just gonna watch movies 24/7, or I'm just gonna go smoke with my friends after school, and we're just gonna spend hours like just laughing with each other instead of doing the hard work of dealing with your life, and dealing with the hard stuff. So it's like they got into a habit of that. So it's almost like, again, I feel like that played a big role where they weren't able to really take the discipline that they needed in this situation and take it with both hands and like approach it and be willing to face rejection and be willing to do the hard thing of putting themselves out there. With the 11th house, again, that's Aquarius. It's also Uranus. And so I do feel like there's this vibe of either popularity, because 11th house rules other people. And you guys might be really popular, or also just them feeling really different. Aquarius is very different type of energy. Uranus is the planet of surprises. So there's something about them that I feel like is very outside the box and kind of a boundary breaker, boundary pusher, and something where they definitely, that weighs on them, or they feel like people are going to judge them. They feel like a lot of people don't get them. But with Venus here, there's a lot of love between you guys. I can see that there's a lot of depth to your connection, and that this relationship really went down deep into their hearts, and I do feel like they still think of you. I feel like they still reminisce about you, but I do feel like a lot of them are still in this energy of kind of running or escaping reality, and I almost feel like it sneaks up on them when either they're not using these substances or when they finally put down, the video game um, handheld thing. I don't know what that's called, controller, whatever, and or they're not watching movies or whatever, is when it finally kind of dawns on them when they can't really escape any longer. It's like thoughts of you come up, and yeah, I'm hearing that line from Outcast, sorry, Miss Jackson. And it's thoughts of me, thoughts of she, thoughts of he, thoughts of the feelings that her and me had. And that's what's, yeah, that's what's coming up, is like they push that away a lot. And then it's like inescapable. But I do feel like this person's very psychic. I am getting Pisces vibes for sure. And they might be someone that gets a lot of, and clear quartz is a very psychic stone. And I feel like they might get a lot of downloads, and they might, really connect with you on the astral plane, even despite their attempts to like take substances and not think of you. It's like, it's still going to come through, because I do feel like they're very compassionate. They're very watery type of energy, if I'm being honest. And yeah, and God Only Knows is such a romantic song. And I do feel like there's a very spiritual dimension to this, almost like you guys, there's something about you guys that people wouldn't match you. Like maybe you're from the different sides of the track, or you grew up with wealth, they didn't, or you're from different backgrounds, or there's something about this where people would be like, those two? No. No, she would never date him, or he would never date her. And this person takes that as like low self-esteem on their side. Like, because they see you as so great that they're like, I'll never compare to them. And yeah, but I feel like that it's like magnets. You guys were just so drawn to each other that you couldn't stay away. But the message that I'm trying to get from your guides is something like, I feel like they need to work through a lot of this themselves, to be honest. I feel like they have a lot they have to grow through to get better, and to work on this self-esteem, to work on this escapism, to be able to match you as the Queen of Pentacles. We need them to step into King of Pentacles or whatever. They need to become more able to manage their own life, and not such a, I don't want to say disaster, but that's the word that comes to mind, of not someone who, it's like they're a project. And I feel like that's what would have happened in this relationship, is you would have almost taken on like a mothering role or a caretaking role, and you would have been like looking after them. And I think that's something that your guides are like, absolutely not. We do not want that to happen. We want this person to be focused on themselves. So they might have prevented it for that reason from really, taking form and taking place. So let's get more cards. So we got forgiveness, spiritual maturity, creativity, and worthiness. So with creativity coming through, and I've mentioned before, I'm getting a lot of vibes of like books or anime or movies, video games, and songs as well. And I do feel like you might have inspired them to write something or to put together stories, or you might have, just you come up in their mind whenever they're reading about a romantic thing. You definitely inspire them on a really deep level. And I do feel like this person, it's like they need to grow to be a lot more mature. And with the forgiveness energy coming through, I think, look, I love the message on that. It says, I forgive myself, I am forgiven. And I feel like both of you guys need to do that. Like both of you guys kind of made mistakes in this. I feel like more they did than you, but it's like, I don't feel there's a lot of ill will here. I don't feel like there's a lot of hatred or anger or resentment. It feels like a calmness. It feels like there's an understanding of both seeing the divinity in each other, both appreciating each other, even though, things didn't work out. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of hatred and like rage being directed at each other. I think this person just needs to work on their worthiness and realize that the beauty and the divinity they see in you, they also have within. This might be like twin flame vibes, or just soul contract vibes, soulmate vibes, because I just, you guys seem like you have this very strong thread connecting you that is like similar base instinct, kind of like base tendencies, like same south node or something, where both of you guys were healers, or both of you guys were givers, or both of you guys are very, very empathic and loving to others. And so that's what you have in common. Sometimes this is what empaths do, is they run from it by, distracting themselves and going into substances, or living in a delusional world of just like books and movies and stuff, as a way to take themselves out of the moment, as a way to stop feeling the pain from so many other people. But I feel like there's a lot of sweetness here, but yeah, they just need to do a lot of growth. But I feel like their higher self is saying how much they did and still do care about you and think of you. And I could see a time when maybe they would come out of this and not be distracting themselves so much, and maybe finally be like, you know what, I'm not drinking anymore, or I'm not watching any more of these movies, or I'm not playing video games anymore. And they finally come out of this distracted energy, and they're able to kind of take in what happened and then finally step towards you. But I will say that I always think it's a bad idea to wait around for someone like that, because soul growth can take a while. I mean, my dark night of the soul, I think, fully lasted, yeah, like it takes longer than you think. You think it's going to be like 2 months. No, 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 it's not. And so I just feel like it might take them a minute, and you don't want to be waiting around for, a few years while they figure their stuff out. I feel like they're on that growth though, and you can send them love from afar, and I could see you guys coming back together though one day for some of you guys. So I want to get some messages from this person as well. So can we get messages for pile 2? Messages for pile 2, messages for pile 2. So we got, close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to feel joyful. You can allow joy into your life regardless of the circumstances you currently find yourself in. Look deep within your heart and you will feel my love. My love for you is as deep as the ocean, and only time will tell. I'm telling you guys that there is this really strong likelihood that you guys might come back together. Okay, so we also got, let's see what else. Oh, okay. Manifesting miracles. Your dream is soon to become reality. Trust your heart and continue to follow its guidance and playfulness. Laughter is the best therapy. Have some fun together. And remember, love is the greatest healer. I almost feel like you guys are doing such heavy shadow work that might be a message for both of you guys to like just chill a little bit and have fun and have joy, because I feel like for some of you guys, this relationship has really been bringing you down because of the once you have a deep soulmate like this and a deep twin flame that brings up trauma and all this pain and past lifetime stuff, it can take a really long time to recover. It can take a really long time to feel good again. And sometimes it can be a really good thing to actively seek out something that makes you happy, like a romantic comedy or something lighthearted, or going out with your friends to get froyo, or, just going to laugh at the beach, or like going on a hike in the sunshine, like just anything to feel good again. Because when you're dealing with this kind of depth of connection, it just brings up so much intensity of feelings that are sad and hard and deep. And I feel like your guides want you to kind of, it's like you've been working in a lot of heavy energy, transmuting a lot of heaviness. And it's like, I feel like maybe you feel so bad for them, because I do feel like this is a deep emotional relationship of deep, I want to say trauma, or just deep emotions. And it's sad that you might just like not feel like it's okay for you to laugh. Like, they're going through so much stuff that you're like, oh my God, I would be a horrible person if I was laughing. I would be a horrible person if I was having fun again, when they're, completely miserable and they're all alone and all this stuff. And it's like, no, you're not a horrible person to have fun and to enjoy your life. And like this card says, only time will tell. If you guys are supposed to end up together, you will. But I feel like, you should continue to be in the star energy, because you guys are really beautiful. And I'm hearing some of you guys are saying, but I only want them. I don't care about all the other people that are into me. But the thing is it's it's not about that. Like, I mean, I know it stinks when you just want one person, but keep in mind that the universe is endless and that we have endless opportunities for things that'll make us happy. And we don't just get one soul mate, soul partner, we have multiple. Like, think of even if you did the most intense synastry chart and you had the most perfect transits to someone else, like that were like incredible, where you were like gasping and you were like, oh my God, my Mars is over their Venus and vice versa, and my Eros is over their Psyche and vice versa, and my Pluto trines their Mars, and it's just like, oh, everything's just so sexy and perfect and deep and intense, and my moon aspects their Jupiter, and it's, I just feel so understood. There's other people born on their same birthday at the same time. We live in a world of like what, 7-8 billion people. I think it's 8, might be less, might be more, but I think that, like, keep in mind how many options we have. There's endless possibilities for us to find that soulmate that really speaks to our heart. And if it's not, right, it's not to say that just discard anything, but understand that the universe will always align us with our greatest and highest good. And so either that means you're supposed to come back together or you're not, but let it always flow. Anything that is for you will flow easily to you, and anything that's not for you is going to always be like a struggle and a fight. And it's not to say that, like, the good things in life, sometimes it takes struggle and work, as you know, Queen of Pentacles, you guys have the discipline to know that. But if something just isn't working, and is floating out of your life, then just understand that it will float back at the right time, or something better will float in. You know what I mean? And so I think you guys have this deep connection, but I also just feel like this person needs to do so much soul growth and soul worth. And it was their lack of self-worth, their lack of self-esteem that made them unable to really step up to you in the way they should have. And you guys should continue being the star and lean into that, and never feel guilty or bad or like, oh my God, I should have shown them, or, oh, I can't believe I intimidated them. No, that's just their own work. And I don't feel like this person would even ever resent you for that or blame you, like, because they feel like a sweet energy, and I feel like they know that it was really their fault, it wasn't you. So I just really want you guys to know that, and not be like beating yourselves up for this, because that's the last thing. You guys are amazing, and you bring so much to the table, and I think that you should just rejoice in that, and the right partner is going to love that about you. This one says manifesting miracles. As I'm saying, you can manifest whatever. Your dream is soon to become reality. Trust your heart and continue to follow its guidance. So if it didn't work out, if it didn't happen, then that's okay, right? Like, on to the next. Especially when you're a feminine, when you're a feminine energy, you're not supposed to like push. Sometimes the masculine can do that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing for the masculine, but for the feminines, you're not supposed to be like white knuckling something and holding on to it super tight and trying to push. You're supposed to be receptive and, accepting things to flow to you, to allow them to drift into your life in a beautiful way. So, yeah, I think that this is the message from your guides and stuff, is to find a little bit of joy with this, and that you guys do have a deep connection with them, but also that there's soul work that needs to be done on both sides, and especially on their side, about realizing that they need to maybe manifest more physical security and more pentacles, more money, more material wealth, and once they do, they'll feel more confident in themselves, and maybe they'll be able to step towards you again. And for you, just keep, don't let this make you feel like you shouldn't shine as brightly as you should, because that is so beautiful about you. That is a good thing, not a bad thing. And the right partner is going to be absolutely over the moon about you guys having these characteristics. So I really hope that helped. Pile 2, let me know if it resonated in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, so definitely let me know. And make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up as well, and turn on those notifications so you find out as soon as I post. And if you want to check out my Patreon, I post all my additional readings over there, and they're a lot of fun. My last one is a tipsy reading all about your future spouse. So it's a really fun, interesting one. So definitely check that out and watch that. Link is in my bio for that. And I think that's about it. I am sending you guys so much love and light, and I'll be back very soon for another reading. So make sure you're subbed so you can see that, and I will see you then. But have an amazing day, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, pile three. So, if you guys picked this celestite crystal, this is going to be your reading. So, for your pick a cards, you guys got take responsibility for your life as a creative adventure, and nothing real can be threatened. For your tarot, you guys got the Seven of Pentacles, Four of Cups, the Empress, High Priestess, Knight of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Judgment, the Chariot, and Temperance. So with so many major arcana cards coming out, I can tell that this person's feelings for you were very deep and intense. And also that I'm getting this was a spiritual tipping point for a lot of you guys that was supposed to happen to usher you into a period of some divine growth and kind of like a mini dark night of the soul to make you guys really have some deep realizations and learn some very important spiritual principles. So that's something maybe you guys have been wondering, like, why did this happen or why did it not work out this way? But I really do feel like your guides have been with you this whole time and guiding this whole interaction, and that message is coming through very strongly for you guys. So with that being said, let me talk about some of the things I'm initially channeling about this situation. One being your energy. This person is bringing up your energy as being very delightful, and I keep hearing the word delight. And I feel like there's something very charming about you guys, or that's what they're saying. They're also saying you're very cute. I'm seeing someone who's just really cute. Something about a button nose is what I'm hearing in my mind. So there's something about your nose having like a cute nose or a button nose, or just them wanting to kind of like bloop your nose, you know what I mean? Like just tap it because it looks so cute to them. And also your cheeks as well. I'm getting some of you guys might have cute kind of puffy cheeks or something, but there's something about your cheeks that they find very, very attractive, and your whole face that they just find very beautiful and cute, and like just cute is the word specifically. So I don't know, but they're saying that you're very attractive, and also that you have kind of a bubbly, funny type of personality. Like I feel like you guys are kind of adorable, and a lot of people think that you guys are kind of funny. You have like funny things to say, or maybe you guys might even be clumsy. I'm seeing someone kind of like tripping over something or dropping a pile of books, like, and they find all this very endearing. And I feel like you were a bit of a light in their lives, and they kind of look back on this as like, wow, they were so funny. They could always make me laugh. And I almost feel like this person has a bit of a hard shell at times, where maybe it's a bit hard for them to open up to people and a bit hard for them to get to know people in the way that you understand them, and we're always so sweet and open to them. They really love. But there's something also about you guys, even though you're cute, and a lot of times people associate cuteness with kind of youth and inexperience and not being like super smart, but you guys are super smart. You guys got the Empress, and then you got the High Priestess. So coming out one after the other, you guys are a force to be reckoned with. And I don't even know if they're fully aware of your power or you're fully aware of your power. I'm getting the sense that actually a lot of people, even the people that like you, underestimate just how powerful you guys are. You're also very psychically in tune and very psychically powerful. And the message about this situation is it's kind of complicated, so I'm going to channel a lot of it, but one, that you're an empath. And this is one of the reasons why you were very drawn to this person, is because they do have a bit of a hard shell. And maybe some of that is due to trauma. A lot of times when someone is kind of non-communicative and very not open to others and kind of has a bit of a shell, like there was some trauma that prompted that. There's some reason why they're playing things very close to the vest. And I feel like you guys tend to sense that in people and tend to be an empath for a lot of people, and kind of a healer. Like you are that person that will try to bring people out of their shell and try to get them to talk. And maybe they tell you something and they're like, I never told anyone that. I can't believe I told you. Or like you meet someone and within 5 minutes they're telling you about the fact that something crazy that happened in their family, or something that they're hiding from everyone else, and they're like, I don't tell anyone, I can't believe I mentioned this, you know what I mean? And know that that is your divine gift. If that is something that's happening to you guys, that is your divine gift, and it's because people recognize this High Priestess in you and this compassionate, loving energy. And this relationship, I feel, is just bringing that out more and more. This is actually a spiritual awakening for you guys, and I'm getting that you guys are very spiritually aware, and very high vibrational pile and very spiritually like advanced, if that makes sense. You might have some psychic abilities yourself, and I feel like this is just ushering you into an era of trusting that more and being even more powerful and gifted in that time. Because keep in mind, a lot of times our spiritual gifts get awakened by difficult periods. So actually, like, I know sometimes people get mad at me when I say stuff like that, but I don't make the rules, guys, and I don't like choose to have that. If it were up to me, of course, no one would go through anything. But a lot of times it is through hardship that we find what we're kind of made of. And I feel like a lot of you guys have been going through a lot of spiritual downloads and kind of like maybe having really intense dreams or staying up really late at night and kind of unable to sleep. I'm getting you guys getting downloads at night, specifically under the moon. And we just had the eclipse, so this might be this is a very spiritually potent time for everyone, but it would make sense. And I'm seeing you guys communing with the moon at this time. So this is coming up in this reading because I believe that this relationship triggered this. So even though it's not a reading about you necessarily, it is going to be about this relationship, but this is what it was meant to bring out and conjure in your life. We all have these relationships for a reason. And so I do feel like the reason was to awaken this within you and make you trust your gifts a little bit more, and also make you realize your power of yourself, because I do feel like you did a lot of healing work on this person, whether you were consciously doing it or not, whether you are consciously into, different manifestation things or magic things or whatever. I feel like you were doing healing work on this person on a soul level, and actually probably while you sleep. And this is why I'm seeing someone in bed, maybe like tossing and turning as they're trying to sleep. And maybe you might even sleep, but you wake up exhausted and you're like, oh my God, another night of like, no, I'm exhausted. I wake up, I slept for 7 hours, I slept for 8 hours, but I'm still like, I feel like I never slept at all, because you're doing spiritual work on while you sleep in the night. And I feel like with this person specifically, like it's almost like their shell and the kind of exterior they have that might be a little tough and a little hard, you saw through it and you saw the softness inside of them and the beauty inside of them, and you wanted to heal and fix them. And so you did, whether you actually worked with them, obviously like talking to them consciously and saying like, listen, you need to heal this. Probably not. A lot of you guys probably did this work on the astral plane, but this is to make you more in touch with your powers and realize how special you guys are and how amazing you guys are. I do feel like this person is a bit of a hard worker and kind of like a nose to the grindstone type of energy. I do feel like it's kind of like maybe this is their energy, this is your energy a little bit, and there's a little bit of mixing happening with some of these cards, but I do feel like this person is a hard worker, someone that is ambitious and maybe even kind of can come off as a bit businesslike or kind of like not as emotional. Like when they first meet you, maybe they're kind of just like, hi, nice to meet you. And it's kind of dry. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to be pouring their heart out to everyone. They're not going to be this water sign that's like, oh, like I want to know everyone's secrets and let's sit around and kumbaya. Like that's not their energy. They might play things a little bit closer to the vest and be almost come off as like, I don't really care about that stuff. I'm only focused on work and I'm, totally dedicated to my job, or I'm very disciplined, or no, I don't go to parties, kind of like almost a little judgmental. And I feel like you guys brought out that side to them where like it's almost like you made them loosen up, or you would make them laugh and no one else could, or you made them stop and smell the roses. And they really love that about you. But I feel like the message for you guys is that you're magic. Like I think you think about them and you're like, oh, like they saw this side of me and like no one sees me like this. And they like, you felt beautiful because they viewed you as so beautiful, and you saw yourself through their eyes, and it made you realize the beauty in yourself. But that's the key word, the beauty in yourself. That's always there and always will be there, whether they're able to witness it or not. It still exists, whether their eyes are on it or not. Like, it's like, I'm seeing this image of like when the Mona Lisa, when it's night at the Louvre and there's no one around and the security guards shut off all the lights and, lock up all the rooms and everyone's gone, does the Mona Lisa disappear? does it become any less beautiful? No, it's just no one's around to see it, right? But of course, it's still just as beautiful, and it's always going to be just as beautiful, whether anyone sees it or not. And sometimes you hear stories about like a beautiful painting that someone bought at a yard sale and they stuck it up in their attic for, 70 years. And it's like, a famous, incredible painter, or, a just priceless work of art, and then someone discovers it and sees it and decides to take it to, they're like, this is really kind of pretty, let me take it to an auction house or something, and then they find out it's worth like $70 million, and it was always there, it was always just as beautiful. Just because no one else recognized it at that time, and maybe they didn't have the tools to recognize it, didn't mean that it was any less beautiful. And your guides want you to know this relationship was supposed to happen to make you see yourself accurately as you are, as the beautiful, enchanting, and magnificent soul that you guys are. Like, I really feel like there's something so beautiful about you guys. You might have a prominent Venus energy in your heart, but I keep hearing like bubbling laughter. Like, I'm almost seeing like a scene from, which I don't watch this show, but it's come up in a couple of my readings, but Bridgerton, where like, they're at the ball and everyone's in like these gowns and someone's like laughing at a joke, and it's all very refined. And that's kind of your energy, is like there's a lot of beauty around you, and very almost high end, or very lighthearted, kind of frivolous, like Marie Antoinette, but not in a bad way. Not in like a, I think they said she never actually said let them eat cake, and that was just something the media made up. So she's not this heartless person that a lot of people think she is what I heard. I don't know, I'm not like an expert on her, but like kind of like her vibes of just like enjoying life and having fun. And I feel like that's something you guys are supposed to do and to bring out in this world. And that beauty in you, maybe you didn't really see it before this person came around, but you're always supposed to know how special you are, and that exists whether this person is around to see it or not. So that's really the channel message that's coming through really strong. But their feelings for you are, they see you as amazing, as incredibly beautiful, as incredibly special. All those things I mentioned, they really see that in you. And maybe it means more coming from this person because there's a lot of depth here. I can tell this person is probably highly intelligent, and again, a little bit kind of discriminating about who they hang out with. Like, I feel like they just wouldn't be impressed by any old person. Like, their standards are very high, and maybe that's why you take their high opinion of you to heart so much. Is like, maybe they don't really like anyone else, and they kind of are standoffish to a lot of people. And maybe it's a situation where the fact that they had such a high opinion of you and they were so appreciative of you is something that maybe it hasn't happened before. And maybe you were just like, I feel seen for the first time. I feel like understood for the first time. But there's a message here that some of these people might have been a little bit of a fear of commitment as well. Like, even though they really appreciated you, maybe they weren't ready. I can see that they are very focused on money and attaining money. And maybe that was just a major focus for them, where they're like, I just can't, I don't have time for this. Or they never approached you like that. And I do feel like they saw the beauty in you, but maybe it's like they didn't fully take it through and follow through on it. And the message is, again, that you're so beautiful, and you don't need to sit around and wait for them, because I do feel like your life is being sped up right now. Like, the timeline is being sped up, and Spirit really has a really strong message for you guys, that they want you to live everything to the fullest and really think about how we all have a limited time on earth. And it's so important for us to seize every bit of pleasure out of every moment. I love this message. Take responsibility for your life as a creative adventure. So it's like, it's up to us to make sure we are bringing every bit of pleasure and fun that we can. And I feel like a lot of you guys, that's kind of your birthright. I'm also getting Sagittarius energy for some of you guys, and heavy Venus energy as well, as I mentioned. But that energy to me is all about enjoyment and having fun and being in the moment. Leo energy coming through too. Let me get some cards about songs that sum up the vibe of this relationship for pile 3. So we got blue ain't your color. Oh my God. That's exactly what I'm saying, is like, this is about you having fun, and Spirit not wanting you to be down in the dumps about this, because I don't know if that's what I said or what I was going to say, but that's exactly what I'm getting, is like, you guys are joyful. Your energy is coming through as like laughter and fun and enjoyment. And that's what you're supposed to do and supposed to be. And some of you guys might have been focused on this relationship and it's kind of getting you down in the dumps. And spirit is like, no, we need you glowed up in your highest energy of yourself. We want you smiling. We want you enjoying, and know that if this relationship didn't work out, it's not supposed to work out. And look, nothing real can be threatened. And that's exactly it. Nothing real can be taken away. If it is yours, it will always be yours. And what's coming to mind for me with that card is the song All Night by Beyonce, which is one of my favorite songs. It's such a loving energy song, and the way she sings nothing real can be threatened is so beautiful. And it's like when your relationship is really real and it's true love and it's supposed to be, then you'll be able to withstand the storms. You'll be able to have those disagreements and come together and come back apart. And if someone isn't willing to step up and step for you, then they don't deserve you. And that's period. So I feel like, even though you might be thinking a lot of this person with a sky full of stars, and I feel like they think about you as well, I feel like a lot of them, they weren't willing to step up to the plate. They weren't willing to fully give it your all. And you might even have questioned yourself as a result of it. I'm going to stop just because I'm holding this, but we got Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, I was just going to say something and it left my mind. Yeah, it's almost like they saw the beauty in you and you got this incredible rush and you were like, oh my God, I feel so understood. And it healed your soul on a deep level, but then their unwillingness to kind of step towards you and really present themselves to you and really be all in has made you question yourself. So it's like, in a way, like you felt so loved and then you felt you had the rug ripped out from under you. So it was kind of this weird head trip. And I feel like a lot of you guys have been questioning yourself since and been like, what did I do wrong? Or like, this is so upsetting that it didn't work out and that, I just kind of got left. And the message is so strong that you guys are supposed to be happy and joyful. And that if a person didn't step up, then that's not the right one, period, point blank. So also with Wonderful Tonight, again, you guys are very physically attractive and like life of the party energy. We got Always Be My Baby, Mariah Carey. What songs sum up the vibe for pile 3 and have messages we need to hear? Turn to White, She and Him. Okay. Bleed to Love Her, Lindsey Buckingham. Okay. Daylight, Taylor Swift. Oh, I love that. Okay, that's making sense to me now with Turn to White and Daylight. Call It What You Want, Taylor Swift. Wow, okay, it's really coming through. And Wait for Me, Hall & Oates. And we did get the Temperance card as well. Okay, I'm being told to take one more message, but I'm already wanting to channel because, okay, oh my God, I literally got chills. That is so odd. Okay, because I literally, you guys, seriously, I'm so glad that I live pulled so you guys can see that. It was All Night by Beyonce. That is so crazy. That is so crazy. That is so crazy. Okay, that's exactly, and it's so funny because I was putting the mug away and I literally heard a so strong pull one more. So I'm like, okay, I have a million songs I already wanted to channel. But yeah, that song, that's the message, is like, and that song is all about working through kind of the hardships of love and coming out on the other side. And when someone's not willing to do that for whatever reason, they're not for you. And I feel like the message you guys need to hear is about Daylight and Call It What You Want by Taylor Swift, which is like, sometimes when we're going through the hardest stuff, it's really hard to see through to the other side. It's really hard to understand, why the heck did this happen? Why on earth am I going through this? It's really easy to get mired down in like feeling separated from them and being really upset or feeling worthless because someone didn't pick us and they chose someone else, or why didn't they step towards me? They must have never cared. And the reality is that not everyone can even handle your light. Not everyone is even capable of standing in the presence of your light. And sometimes they know that, and their guides and their ancestors tell them, like, you know what, don't send that text, because they know they're all talking on the other side. Our ancestors and our guides, they'll commune with each other, and they're like, listen, it's kind of like if you knew someone was shady and you could somehow and they were trying to date your friend, and you could somehow contact them and be like, don't text her, just cut her off. You know what I mean? Please just don't talk to her. You would do that because you know that that's not right for them. And I'm not saying this person is shady, but I'm saying for so many of you guys, there's something so much better for you. Someone who is always going to step up for you and is always going to be willing to put themselves at risk and take those steps they need. And you guys are the Empress and the High Priestess. You are deserving of so much better. You're deserving of someone who will bleed to love her. And you know what also is coming to mind with that song is Lindsey Buckingham, you know, from Fleetwood Mac. He says that he wrote that song about someone else, but I think he wrote that song about Stevie Nicks because we all know Lindsey Buckingham never really got over Stevie Nicks, and I am just confident that song is about her, even though he's like, oh no, not at all, it's definitely not, I don't care about Stevie anymore, that's from the 70s. But he's always popping off and getting mad at Stevie. I'm like, no, no, no. You still have feelings for her. It's very obvious for everyone. And this is the thing, is sometimes people can have deep feelings, but they don't want to admit it. And that stuff can last for years. You can see someone still being upset about like a high school love when they're like 75. But he's not mature enough to come forward and be like, Stevie, I was always in love with you, and I'm really sorry. And be brave about it, because that takes a lot of bravery. And so my point is, if someone isn't stepping towards you, isn't putting themselves on the line, know that a lot of times that's fear on their side and has nothing to do with you or your light. Like, obviously Stevie Nicks is so iconic and everyone can see that in her, and I'm sure he knows that as well, but he's not willing to put his feelings on the line. But what has she done? She focuses on her own lane. She's become this iconic figure. And my point is you guys are like the Stevie Nicks here, and High Priestess energy coming through for sure with her. And so focus on finding your light and your joy, because I feel like you guys, I'm hearing adventure of a lifetime, and I feel like a lot of you guys are about to be on this amazing adventure, and your guides really want you to do things that make you happy. I'm seeing like active happiness, like taking a tropical vacation if you can, or if you can't afford it, which, you know, totally understand if you can't, of course, but it's like doing things that will make you happy in the moment, doing things that will make you feel good, even if it's just, you know what, I'm going to go out and take myself out to lunch today, and I'm gonna get all dressed up, and I'm gonna put on my favorite dress, and I'm gonna go out and sit at the bar and order, you know, my favorite meal and maybe like a martini or whatever you'd like to drink, and just make myself happy in that moment. Or I'm gonna go out to a bookstore and, you know, really find a book I really want and kind of browse. Like, I love doing that once in a while, just going to a bookstore. That's actually a great divination exercise. Since you guys are a psychic pile for me, you can go out to the bookstore and try to see which pile you're energetically drawn to, and then go to that one. And there's sometimes a message in that. Sometimes you can open it just randomly too, and like point your finger to a page and see what the message is. But it's a great way to find new books, is to go and actually energetically see what catches your eye, what you're drawn to, what you're pulled to. But like finding a day just to spend time to yourself. And I feel like some of you guys, honestly, in this pile, not trying to do like a current energy update, but some of you guys might be moving, switching jobs. I feel like there's a lot of change in this pile. And you guys, I'm hearing, are going to be so much happier by the time this is over. And this relationship kicked it all off. It happened to make you guys go on this spiritual journey and to make you guys level up your life, because what I'm hearing is some of you guys really aren't happy where you're at, or it's not really fully tapping into all your powers and all your abilities and all your power that you guys had. You're so powerful, and it's almost like you've been in a little shell, or like in a little jail cell. Like, you haven't been able to access your full powers because I don't know, maybe you've been around just a janky like situation, or like a hometown that's just kind of limited or whatever. And it's like, it's going to be unleashed by the time you're done with this. And go listen to Daylight by Taylor Swift. And she sings, you know, I once thought love was burning red, but it's golden. And she just keeps saying, all I see now is daylight. And I was going through the dark night, and now I see daylight. And it's like, that's the vibe for you guys, is you had to go through this relationship. You had to go through the pain in order to come into all the blessings. And I know for me, when I think about the biggest spiritual growth I had, it definitely all has been kicked off by like negative stuff. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case. I wish we could just have sunshine and rainbows and lollipops and it just all to be joy. But the biggest growth you go through, it's just like in school. You don't learn when you know, if you've ever had a teacher, like I love my Italian teacher, but I still to this day don't know much Italian, even though I took it for all of high school, except 1 year of Latin. But I, you know, don't know that much of Italian because I had a teacher who was so nice and we just sit and like chat and like literally everyone in class would just talk about like current events and like make jokes. And she was really funny. She was really great, fun to be around. And I know some Italian, but for taking it for 3 years, I don't know that much. Now, French, I know more of, and I took that for like way shorter of a time because I had an actual French teacher and she didn't speak to us in English, like she maybe once in a while, but she pretty much would only talk to us in French. We had to ask everything in French. And when you're in France, like they won't really speak to you unless you try. And you know what? That's how you learn. Even though like it's way easier to be in that class with the teacher that won't challenge you, that you're just like laughing about like, oh, this happened in current events, haha, and you know, having fun. That's not where you learn. You learn through the hardship. So this relationship was happening to teach you guys on a very deep level something. And I am excited for you guys because I feel like you guys are coming into your power. This is a glow up. This is an exciting time. You should be, you know, if you knew what was in store for you guys, you would be throwing confetti right now. You'd be like partying, popping champagne. You'd be so excited because this is just a pivotal growth moment for you guys. I'm really getting that really strong. So I'm hearing for some of you guys, like this person didn't pick you or they overlooked you. And I think that's a lot of the pain is like, wow, I can't believe like I thought they really saw me as I was and they saw me for who I am, but they didn't, I guess they didn't like me that much. And it's like, no, they did see you as you are. And that's what I'm saying is like Lindsey Buckingham is still obsessed with, you know, what's her name? Oh my gosh, Stevie Nicks, but his pride won't let him admit it, you know, but he has those feelings deep inside. He's still writing these love songs about her like all these years later and storming out of the band and all this drama he's always causing because he's still obsessed with her and he refuses to admit it to anyone. So that's the thing is like, don't underestimate the power of pride and petulance and just, you know, not wanting to admit when you're wrong. And so don't take someone's reactions to you as like their actual feelings, because a lot of times someone might be feeling something deeper, but they don't want to put it out there. They don't want to admit it to the world and look like a fool. So I feel like this person does have deep feelings for you, but anyway, what you have in your future is so much brighter. Who cares? But let's get into more cards. So we got divination, okay, high priestess again, fairy spotting, celebration, and go outside. And what did I just say? You guys, if you knew what was coming for you, you'd be having a celebration. You'd be partying. You'd be like, you know, jumping off, or dancing on a table, you know, having a ball. Like it would be a blast. You'd be so thrilled right now. And I feel like also your guides want you to go out and have a little bit of fun and put yourself out there. And some of you guys might have been in like a little bit of hermit mode is kind of what I'm getting. And maybe it's time to go out to, you know, the bar and have a, you know, have a little drink and meet people. Or if you don't drink, which is totally fine, maybe just go out and, you know, get that glass of water with lime at the bar and, you know, still socialize, but go out. And I feel like you guys should be having fun and be out in the world and enjoying and appreciating and experiencing and being plugged into life, because I feel like that's when you guys are in your highest type of energy. And I want to spin the astro dice right now. Speaking of that, with go outside though, some of y'all have literally been holed up inside. Let me get some astro dice for pile 3. So we got, oh my God, we got the 9th house, we got Cancer, and we got the nodes, aka destiny. And that's what I'm saying to you guys. This is a destiny moment, even though it may not feel like that. It is. This relationship came in to shake things up for you and to usher you into this destiny time. And I feel like you guys in the future are going to just be having a lot more fun. And I feel like you guys really need to focus on that. Focus on you being your highest version of yourself so you can attract a partner who will be the same energetic echo of that, because you guys have the potential to be so powerful. Like truly, I'm not just saying that to anyone. You truly in this pile specifically have the power to, you are so powerful. You literally got the Empress and the High Priestess. I mean, hello, like what else can I say to make this clear? So it's like you guys are so powerful. You should be working on glowing yourself up, making yourself as happy, as excited, as prosperous as you possibly can be, so you can attract that person on the same level as you. Not someone who's scared, not someone who's going to, you know, throw some shade at you or be like, well, yeah, I liked her, but I mean, whatever. You know, you want someone who's going to be like, I'm freaking in love, and yes, and I'm on the same tip as them, and we are aligned, and we can be like running an empire together, and oh, I love this person, and step up to the plate for you. Because, you know, not to like, I'm not trying to like beat up on Lindsey Buckingham in this reading. I mean, I hope he doesn't watch my channel. I doubt he does, but God bless the man. But I'm just saying, like, you know, still after all this time, he's still mad about it. And it's like, that's the thing, is like, people can stay in their growth, in their stagnation mode. And that's why you always want to be choosing to grow yourself, and also choosing people who grow themselves, choosing people who are also in like, how do I improve? How do I get better? Let me work on this. Let me grow here. Let me do this. Let me do that. And I feel like it's like this person, if they're not doing that and they're not stepping up to the plate, it's on to the next. We don't have time to waste, right? Life is short. We don't have time to sit around waiting and waiting for someone who can't figure their stuff out. And we're a second place to them, but maybe they'll come around later, and I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm confused. And yes, I have feelings for you, but I'm not sure because I like that, like, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. So on to the next. And that's what we got to do. And I feel like you guys are going to be doing that. And you might be traveling with that ninth house, Sagittarius, Jupiter energy coming out. And you also might be building a business or something like that, because Jupiter can also be expansion and wealth. But I definitely see travel for a lot of you guys, possibly moving internationally or moving to a totally different place that is going to be a lot more active. I want you guys to go outside, have fun, enjoy, because that's something that I think is missing right now. And it's like, you guys, your natural element, you will know your natural element by what makes you feel glowed up, happy, excited. That's what you need to be heading into and moving towards, not feeling glum and upset and sad. Fairy spotting to me is a card about, you know, seeing the magic in everything and going out and being willing to just kind of experience and like see the beauty and the magic in like a beautiful flower and a tree. And that's what fairy energy is like, they love nature, first of all. So maybe some of you guys getting into nature, and I am seeing tropical islands, so maybe some tropical vacation is, I keep getting that kind of vibe, or moving to a tropical place. But with fairy spotting, like, you know, they hang out in like the woods and nature, and they're very playful and mischievous, and that's the vibe you guys have as well. I wasn't quite sure what this card would mean for you guys when I pulled them. I just pull quick and then I like interpret later, but it makes sense now because it also is your personality. You guys are very playful and mischievous. You might have fairy guides attached to you, fairies attached to you guys, because this is just so much mischievous energy and like laughing. Like I've mentioned to you guys, I just hear laughing and stuff like that. And that's a beautiful thing. So again, don't let anyone hold you back from your shine. That might be why the fairies are mad and they just want you to forget this person, because they don't want anyone to not let them have their fun. So we got the Fire Prince, Optimism, Aggression, the Spiral Dancer, Circuitous Root, Perception, the Phoenix, Resurrection, Surrender to Change, and the High Lady of Love and Compassion, Reverence, Kindness, Consideration. So a lot of energy of spirituality, once again, the High Priestess. And with the Spiral Dancer, I feel like, again, your guides kind of want you to just go out and dance and have fun and like listen to music and have a blast and enjoy. They don't want you to be cooped up inside and all sad and upset. With the Fire Prince, I feel like, first of all, you guys are optimistic. You should be optimistic. You should try to be thinking positively. Maybe some of you guys have been having negative thoughts lately, or feeling really depressed, or kind of like just negative about life. Like, oh, it's never going to work out. I can't believe it didn't work out. And maybe this relationship prompted some of that. But the message is, keep your optimistic self, because that's what your guides like and want for you. And even just going out and dancing and having some fun with some friends, or just going out and dancing, even dancing around, you know, your apartment or your house, putting on some music you love and like just dancing and using your body. It can be a very spiritually potent thing. Even also, some of you guys might need to sage your space and throw open the windows, let that fresh air in, because if there is some stagnant, depressed energy, you can also banish that out. You know, you can banish whatever you want with that sage. You can say like, you know, get rid of any negativity, any depression, depression, any anxiety, you know, whatever, you have the power, and that's what you guys need to realize. And with the Phoenix, again, this was put in your life to make you guys rise from the ashes like the Phoenix and come out better and stronger on the other side. So other cards we got: the Garden, self-respect, inner peace, manifestation. Yes. Okay. You guys are on this journey towards self-respect and so much coming through. So let me try to get everything before I forget some of it. But I feel like you guys are so spiritually potent. They're just bringing it up over and over in all the card pulls. So you guys really are glowing up and learning, and this is a spiritual thing. Like, again, if you knew how spiritually special this period is for you and how much you'll look back now and be like, wow, that was the major key moment, that was the door unlocking, you would be thrilled. You'd be like blown, like having streamers and like, you know, just you'd be excited. So also this book says I am enough, and that's what they want you guys to know. And the thing about the Garden is the archetype in these cards is the garden and the gardener, and the gardener takes care of the garden, and usually the garden is the divine feminine. So the message for my divine feminines in this pile is like, the garden is always restful, right? The gardener is the active one. The gardener takes care of the garden. It's the role of the garden to bloom to her highest potential. And so that the gardener feels proud of like, wow, like, look, my garden's all glowed up. It's feeling good. It's looking good. And oh, I did a great job. And it's up to the garden to also glow up to her highest potential for her own sake. And also so that either when she's glowed up and in full bloom, the right gardener will come around, or that, you know, she'll meet a gardener who will help her on the journey to that. But she doesn't have to take an active role. So if you are the divine feminine watching this reading, just know that you didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't your job to be the active one in the relationship and make things happen. It was his job. Okay, so if he didn't do it, he didn't do it, and it's on to the next. And if you're a masculine watching this, the message is, I feel like maybe this person, this feminine, wasn't receptive to your energy, like wasn't willing to kind of allow you to be your glowed up gardener self. Maybe she has issues with receiving. Maybe she has trauma along with receiving. Maybe you were trying to give to her and to help her and to like take care of her, and she just was walled off, you know, because I could definitely see that energy, whether it's a masculine or feminine, there's a little bit of a wall. And I mentioned that at the beginning. And so maybe if you're a masculine asking about the feminine, she had a little bit of a wall up, and it's like you couldn't break through. Either way, if it's not working, it's not working, and it's not supposed to work. And the best thing that we can all do is when it's not working, learn that, you know, especially the masculines need to give it their best shot, right? Like it is up to the masculine to kind of, and we do have to say, you know, testosterone rates for dudes have dropped a little bit in the past. And by a little bit, I mean a lot, like 30% in the past 30 years. So it is important to men to do everything they can to make the relationship work and know that they gave it their all. But if you gave it your all and it wasn't for you, then it's not for you. And you put yourself out there and made yourself vulnerable, then we don't need to stay trying to tend to a garden that is not, that's barren, that's never going to grow with beautiful flowers and greenery, because there has to be that energetic exchange of openness and receptivity, and then, the masculine role, and it has to be on both sides. So if it wasn't on both sides, on whatever side of the equation, then it's time to move on to this journey of self-respect. And I feel like you guys are going to come out of this so much happier, with so much joy, inner peace, and just contentment, and you're going to glow up from this. So I also want to get some final messages for pile 3, final messages. A message for you. I'm thinking of you at this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. Let's get some more messages for pile 3. What do they need to know about this situation? You may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there is always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. And that's exactly what I've been saying. They said it a little more eloquently than me, but just a little bit. But that's what I'm trying to get across, is like, this is a blessing, and It's hard to understand sometimes in the exact moment why something happened, but I have learned it always does happen. Healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. When it comes to matters of the heart, there is no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of light and love. Criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. And I think the message there that's coming out is kind of like there's no point in trying to hold on to this or fix it. Like there's no point in trying to like make this work or like white knuckle the situation where it's like, okay, I'm going to tell them this and they're going to fix that. It's like sometimes you just got to walk away and glow up to your own self and make yourself happy. Being filled with your own love and acceptance, being filled with your own joy, being filled with your own highest vibrational energy of yourself will attract in the right people. And so if it's this person, then it will work out. And if it's someone else, then it's someone else. But there's no point in staying around and waiting for someone. The best thing we can do is make ourselves feel joyful, make ourselves feel glowed up, and then attract the right tribe, the right friends, the right relationships, and they will come in at that right time. But again, you guys are going through so much healing stuff. I'm so proud of you guys. Like, I just wish I could give you all hugs in this pile because I know you guys are going, like, this is just chef's kiss. I love this pile, this energy. I know you might not feel that way. I know you might be like, what the heck is she talking about? This is the dark night of the soul. This is the worst my life has ever been. No, this is the best. You're going to realize it later. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, that was the major key moment. And I feel like you guys are doing so much spiritual healing work. And you can always imagine yourself surrounded by white light if you want to really give yourself that healing sense of love, also surrounded by pink light if you want to give yourself a real sense of self-love and stuff. But, you know, and it's funny, you guys got celestite because that is a crystal all about connection with the divine. And like I said, you guys are so spiritually potent. You're my high priestesses, and you have this deep spiritual power within. So know that you can always heal yourself. You can connect to that white light at any time. And for them too, you can send them healing energy if you want to, you know, totally whatever. And know how powerful you are. You guys are so powerful in this pile. So I really hope that resonated. Pile 3, let me know if it did in the comments. I'm very curious about this very powerful, potent pile 3 that you guys are. And make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up and turn on those notifications so you find out as soon as I post. And if you want to check out my Patreon. That's where I post my additional readings, including the last one I posted, which is a tipsy reading all about your future spouse. So after a couple glasses of wine, we had that one and it's a lot of fun. So definitely check that out if you want to join us over on Patreon. And make sure you're subscribed over here. I'll be posting again soon. I'm sending you guys so much love and light, and I will see you guys in the next reading. So see you then. Bye. Hey Pile 4, so if you guys picked this Angel Aura Quartz, this is going to be your reading. So for your pick a card, you guys got It's All in Divine Order, Allow, and Rise Above It, It's Not Yours to Carry, You Are an Empath. For your tarot, you guys got the World, the Queen of Swords, 7 of Cups, 10 of Swords, 8 of Wands, the Fool, the Lovers, Queen of Wands, 4 of Swords, and Death. So I can see that your person did indeed have strong feelings for you, a lot of respect for you, with 2 Queen cards coming out, the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands. They probably find you very smart as well as being very attractive to them. But there's a lot of pain coming through in this reading as well with the 10 of Swords and the Death card. And I do think that they probably think about you quite a lot and possibly dream about you as well with the 4 of Swords. You guys might commune and meet each other in dreams. To be honest, I do feel like this person might want to reach out to you with the 8 of Wands. They might have some desire to get into contact with you. So I kind of wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys heard from this person. But honestly, it seems like they've been dealing with a lot of these emotions towards you. I am getting also a vibe that they might have considered that their feelings were one-sided. With the 7 of Cups coming out, they might have thought that this was just kind of an idle dream of theirs. Like, you know what, it's not reciprocated. They don't feel the same way. why, again, with the high opinion they have of you, with the Queen of Swords and Wands, they very well might put you up on such a pedestal that they just assume that someone like you wouldn't want to date them. And I do feel like their feelings were really strong with the Lovers coming out, but then there's also this kind of just feeling of loss, or I don't want to say resignation, but it's like, oh, it's just over. Like I blew it and it's not going to happen and that's over, that's done with. And I do feel like a lot of this just has to do with the high level of respect they have towards you. I don't know if there's something about you guys that almost like a sharp tongue, or where there's intimidation coming through from them, you know, to be honest. It's like they had a lot of respect for you, and I don't know if some of you guys told them something sharply, or, you know, sometimes when someone really likes someone, they don't even need to say anything sharp. They can just be like, oh, like, that's a cool outfit. And just the way they say it, like the person's like, oh my God, oh, I hope it looks okay. Like they become so self-conscious because they want that person's approval so much. And so I don't know if that's going on, or if some of you did indeed tell them something, maybe a little harsh or something, but I do feel like they think a lot about your opinion of them. They very much hold you in high regard. And I feel like it's almost like they wanted everything to be perfect for you. They wanted everything to be like impressive to you. And I almost feel like for some of you guys, that was a little bit of a burden to you. With Rise Above It, it's not yours to carry. You are an empath. I do feel like some of you guys, it's almost like you knew this intuitively. And so you kind of, it felt like a burden. Like you felt like you had to go out of your way to make them feel comfortable with you. You felt like you kind of knew that they were intimidated by you. So you're like, okay, let me try to be like extra nice to them. And let me try to kind of bring their ego back up. But like it didn't quite work to the point where they were capable of stepping towards you in the way they needed. And so I feel like this person honestly goes back and forth between feeling a little bit of despair with the 10 of Swords, and maybe with the 8 of Wands, and then the Fool being like, I'm going to try again. We're going to have a fresh start. We're going to make this happen. And then, you know, going back into the Death card and the feeling of loss and like, no, it's over. There's no chance. There's no point. Why am I trying this? But I do feel like they think about you a lot, and their feelings were pretty deep. With the World, I think they kind of thought of you as their world. Like they really were like, this person, they had you up on a pedestal. They thought of you as really amazing. And I feel like you guys had a lot in common is what I'm hearing from Spirit, that you guys shared some interests. I feel like they like listening to you talk. Something about the tone of your voice or how your voice sounds is very pleasant and pleasing to them. And I also think it's coupled because you do come off to them as very intelligent and kind of, I want to say, educated on subjects they're interested in. So maybe like they're into anime and you know anime, or you like the same type of obscure music as they do. But I feel like there was commonality there, and they're kind of saying you were an expert in something like that, where like there were moments where they would listen to you speaking, or where you would be talking and just, you know, talking, just saying whatever, and they're like, wow, this person's really smart. Like, dang, she's not like the others, or he's not like the others. Like, there's a lot of respect coming through. And also I feel like, again, they're attracted to you as well. They find you very sexy, very enchanting. I feel like it's almost like there's curiosity coming through. Like I could watch this person all day long. You know, whatever they do, like I'll buy tickets to the show, even if it's like watching them like, you know, slowly brush their hair, or like, that sounds kind of creepy, but you know, like make popcorn and just like be like randomly cooking in their kitchen. Like they would want to watch. They would be like, oh, this is amazing. This is the best thing I've ever seen, because I feel like they have a lot of curiosity about you. So it's like whatever you do, however, you know, you're acting, they are interested. They want to know more about you. So I feel like there's this push-pull between the inside them, where again they're kind of resigned. They're kind of like, oh, I blew it and it's over. And then they're like, but I still have that curiosity. And maybe, you know, it's like it kind of creeps back into them of being like, I can't stop thinking about them, and maybe I could have another shot, and being a little more optimistic, thinking like maybe we can do something, maybe we can make it happen. With the Fool, like there's some optimism here. There's like a chance, or a thinking about a second chance. So in this pile, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you guys did hear from them and had them reach out to you. But I do feel like the message from your higher self is about Not necessarily worrying too much about it. And I think this is a general life rule, but I love it's all in divine order, allow, because that's the thing is like, whatever is for you will always be for you. And a lot of it is just having the patience that like it'll come in the right time. I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to blow it. I'm not going to like panic and freak out. And if this person cannot work up the courage, so two messages for two separate groups. One, it is the masculine's job to pursue. So if you're a masculine watching this about this girl, go ahead and text her. Come on, let's go. Like, make this happen because she is interested in you for sure. So it's your job to send that risky text and put yourself out there. That is just how it is in the masculine versus feminine of the universe. You know what I mean? So go for it. This is your like stamp of approval to try, put yourself out there. And like I said, if it's not supposed to work out or she's tied up or whatever, then whatever, you'll be on to the next. And at least you tried. At least you can have that assurance of like, I did it. You know what I mean? But if you're a feminine, I think you should never just wait around or pin all your hopes on one person. You should always be improving yourself, focusing on yourself, and allowing it to flow to you in whatever way it is, right? Whatever the outcome is, whether you're masculine or feminine, we should always be focusing on our best, highest version of ourselves. And if we want something, especially if we're in our masculine, stepping towards it strongly. And if we're in our feminine, letting that come to us and doing our best. But I just feel like this person is interested in you and it feels like they're still interested. So again, depending on what vibe you fall into, it might be in your best interest to take an active role with this or a receptive role, but the interest on their side is definitely there. And I definitely feel like this person thinks about you a lot, dreams about you, would like to be in contact with you in some way. But the message for you from your guides, especially if you're the feminine, is to just kind of relax and let the things flow to you, because whatever is supposed to be yours will. And of course, it's the feminine's job to kind of be open and make it clear that like, if you ask me out, I'll say yes, and be be in their highest vibration of themselves, of being attractive, creating those healthy boundaries, but also just having an energy and a vibe of someone who's abundant and open to life and excited and joyful. And it's the masculine's job to pursue. So however you fall into that, take what you will from this. But I would say this person is thinking about you a lot. So let's get some songs for you guys. Let's get some songs and figure out what the vibe is here as well. We got The Heart Wants What It Wants by Selena Gomez. So like I'm saying, this person really does have strong feelings. Okay, we got Super Bass by Nicki Minaj, which I inexplicably spelled Nicki Ming and never redid it, even though it bothers me every time I pull it. Bad Romance, Lady Gaga. Everlong, Foo Fighters. Vulnerable, Selena Gomez. Gorgeous, Taylor Swift. So They Find You Very Physically Attractive, as we already discussed. And Harmony Hall, Vampire Weekend. There's a very chill vibe happening here. And I feel like your guides, it's almost like you guys know this person is into you is what I'm getting. Like, you know that this person has deep feelings for you. And I feel like a message as well from Spirit is like to trust yourself, because a lot of you guys are empaths and are spiritually gifted. And it's kind of like you already know this person's feelings, like deep down, even if they're trying to play it cool, even if they're trying to act not interested, even if it feels like they maybe are a little pessimistic about things. So maybe they have a vibe of like, oh, it's just like they're defeated in general in life, and they're kind of like, oh, I don't think it's going to work out. So they don't want to put themselves out there. And I feel like, but you guys know on a deep level their deeper feelings. And this is a larger message because we want to take away whatever truths we can from this situation. This is a larger message for you guys to trust yourselves and listen to that deep intuition deep inside of you, that little voice inside that will never steer you wrong. That's what your guides want you to pay attention to really strongly. And like they want you to know that quiet, like some of you guys, I feel like you meditate or you're very spiritual. And it's like, I feel that a lot of you already have had this clarity, and it's totally fine to, watch pick your cards or whatever. I mean, no problem. And some of you guys might already know the answer and you're like, yeah, I did know, but I just watched, whatever pick your card comes up. So I watched this and it's not even that deep, and maybe that's the case, but it's like I just feel like take this reading as confirmation that you guys are very spiritually advanced, that you guys are picking up on the energies and the vibes correctly. So you should take that as approval for the rest of your life too. So if you get a feeling before something, go listen to it. Don't second guess it, don't doubt it, because I do feel like you guys are highly intelligent and you see through situations very deeply. You guys kind of, I feel, have a vibe of like you don't show, it's like you don't let people see you sweat, kind of like you there's a lot, there's kind of everything looks chill and calm on the surface, but there's a lot of deep thinking going on underneath, and people might even meet you and be like, oh, this person seems kind of spacey, or they just seem very withdrawn, or not withdrawn, but like they have this, I don't know how to describe it. Kind of like little bit of a wall up. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they seem shy, or like they didn't really tell me anything, and they just, I feel like I can't really get to know them. That kind of vibe. I'm blanking on like the actual word, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. And I feel like it's because you guys are very psychic, and because you guys tend to study people, I feel like from a distance. Like you're not the type to be right up in someone's business, like talking to them and telling them everything about you. You're the type to like get to know someone slowly and slowly let them in. And I feel like that's why this person sees being with you as such a prize, is because they know that like your attention is very like hard won. You know what I mean? You're not just someone who just wants to be friends with everyone and is just desperately seeking approval from anyone and just has a lot of this like desperate energy. You are someone who has a high level of like self-respect and self-control. And so I feel like because of that, they're just kind of a little intimidated. Like it's almost like the people they used to deal with in the past might have been people that, you know, really wanted their approval and came off even a little desperate at times, or like, oh, I'll do anything for this person to like me. And you guys are just not that way. You're very like, I'm content in myself. I like who I am. And if you add to that, then okay. But what's coming through is just a lot of respect for you. Like this person, I feel like you guys are like wife material or husband material. Like you just seem like you figured out a lot of stuff, and the level of intelligence and spiritual awareness is very high. So I do think I can see why this person is intimidated by you, because I just don't think you guys are the type to kind of act like a bit of a mess. And, you know, people might very well be intimidated by you in general in life. And yeah, you're not someone who just gives away your energy willy-nilly to anyone. Like I feel like with Vulnerable by Selena Gomez coming out, like you kind of present a certain version of yourself to the world that's very composed, but then you kind of hide that vulnerable side a little bit, and you're just not going to let any old person in. And so I think that's why this person's kind of like taken aback by it. Like they're like, why do they like me? Like, wait a minute, they don't let anyone else in, but they think about me. Like, why did I deserve this? You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you think of, like if you met a celebrity and they were like suddenly wanting to be your best friend, you'd be like, what's going on? Like you could talk to anyone. Why are you talking to me? You know what I mean? And that's kind of how they feel about you, is like, wait, they like me the most? Like they could have anyone. So anyway, let's get more cards and get more info about this. So we got Shine from Within, Hidden Depths, Transformation, and Magical Blessing. So like I said, hidden depths is a great word for you guys. Like you guys have a very deep interior world, I feel, and like you present a certain way to everyone. And I feel like it is a good presentation. I don't think like people are like, oh, this person's a jerk or anything like that. But I just think there's like, you're not going to be the one. I almost feel like, you know, you'd be that person at a cocktail party that like leaves after 10 minutes, or you know, talks to like their friends, but doesn't really talk to everyone else. And people are like curious, like, who is this person? Or there's an almost aloof quality. Yeah, aloof is a good word for it. Or like I said, not withdrawn, but a little bit kind of like, I have a little bit of a wall up and like, I'll talk to you, but I'm not going to tell you all about, my childhood trauma, or I'm not going to tell you all my details about myself. I'm keeping a little piece of myself for me, and that is the vulnerable side that not everyone gets to access. And I do feel like you guys are highly intelligent. You might have a prominent Mercury, but I feel like you guys are deep, deep thinkers. I'm getting like Pluto vibes, Scorpio vibes as well, because this is definitely some Scorpio energy, because they are deep thinkers, but they also have a little bit of a protective nature to themselves, and they're also very spiritual. So I could definitely see some Scorpio energy here. But I feel like a lot of people are intrigued by you. A lot of people, like it's almost like this wall or exterior or whatever veneer you have up. They're very like, I want to know more about this person. The more you kind of like are like, no, sorry, you can't come in, the more they're like, I need to know. And it's kind of like when you see like a sign that's like private, like private club or something, and you're like, I want to get in there, or like speakeasy or something where you have to know a code to get in. The more you want to go in there, and maybe you would usually pass a bar and just be like, oh, who cares? But when you find out it's a speakeasy, you're like, wait a minute, I have to know a password, and I have to know someone. Okay, now I want to get in there and see what's going on. So I feel like you have this kind of hidden, mysterious quality to you that this person is saying that they were very intrigued by, and they still think about it. Like, I still feel like they didn't get to know you as well as they would have thought. Like, it feels like I'm still so curious about this person. I have the utmost respect for them. So it's not like I don't know anything about them, but I never got to fully know them to the extent I want, and I'm very curious about the depths of them. But I feel like, again, you guys are coming through as very spiritually aware, spiritually advanced, and kind of spiritually abundant in that sense. And so I feel that, again, with the curiosity and the respect, like you're operating on a very high level. It's not like you're just keeping secrets just for no reason. It's like you are very, I feel spiritually ascended in a way. And it's kind of like, when you're the king, you got to have some guards up. When you're just a random nobody, then no one's going to care about you. When you are like a VIP, you got to have like security, you got to have, like a moat around your castle. When you just live in a like random shack, no one's going to try to break in and steal anything. But when you live in a castle, like a lot of people are, so you got to have more protection. And that's the vibe I'm getting, is like, you guys are very deep thinkers. I feel like you saw deeply into this person, and they really felt known by you, even if you never really told them you were thinking all this. Because again, I get there's a lot of things being played close to the chest and a lot of things left unsaid between you, but almost like whenever you did talk to them, I'm getting you guys have really intense eyes. I keep seeing that in my mind. There's something very deep in seeing about your eyes, which I see a lot in Scorpio placements. So more Scorpio energy coming through, or prominent Pluto you could have as well, like Pluto aspecting the sun, Pluto aspecting the ascendant, Pluto aspecting Venus or Mars. That would all come into play, or the moon, aspecting the moon. But anyway, I feel like for a lot of you guys, like just the way you looked at them when they were talking, it's like they felt like you saw down to their soul, and maybe you did, because I do feel like you guys are very psychic. So anyway, there's like intimidation there. It's like, when someone has your number and sees you like really deeply, it's like, it makes you self-conscious. It's like when someone's ever like just randomly taken your photo, like sometimes they'll be like, I don't know, a cameraman at like a party or something, and like you're minding your business, then the cameraman runs up on you, and suddenly you're like, oh, okay, like, and it makes you self-conscious. Or you have to go up in front of a crowd and give a speech, and maybe you were chill before, but now you're like, oh my gosh, everyone's looking at me. So I feel like they feel very seen by you. You saw down to their depths, and they really recognize that. That's probably why you guys commune in your sleep. I feel like you guys are very psychic, if I'm being honest. And I feel like, to be honest, something that's coming through right now, like, because you guys, first of all, I was going to say that, let me finish that thought really quick, but you guys in your sleep, like, get downloads in general, and you're kind of like a astral traveler while you're sleeping. Like, I feel like you guys kind of dream walk into other people's dreams frequently, probably have very intense dreams frequently, but definitely with this person for sure. But the other thing that I want to mention is that you guys, I almost feel like partially some of you guys in this pile, you feel a little burdened by this person. Like, how much they liked you. And maybe one of the things, like the deep truths about the situation, is it was their intensity of emotion that rubbed off on you, because you guys are such empaths. Like, it's the fact that you knew they did feel so strongly about you, and partially I'm getting some of you guys felt guilty, or felt like I have to respond to this. I know this person's like cares so much about me. Like, it's like, you know how sometimes something will go viral of like someone proposing in public and then the girl says no, and everyone is usually in the comments like, oh my God, she's so mean. I can't believe she said no. And it's like, we have this idea in our society that like when someone really likes us, that like it's cruel not to reciprocate, or it's cruel to turn them down. But the reality is that, you know, we can know in our heart if something is good for us or bad for us. And if it's not for us, then that's a message only we can hear, and maybe no one else can understand it. And everyone else can feel like, oh, that's so mean. But it's like, why is that mean? Isn't it meaner to marry someone you don't love and then end up with them for 30 years and then like, I don't know, cheat on them or divorce them sooner or later because you can't live a lie, or just be in a loveless marriage for the rest of your life? Like, that's not nice to them, and it's certainly not nice to ourselves, and we matter too. You know what I mean? So that's, I don't get that. But my point is like we can internalize messages that like when someone really likes us, like, oh, you need to be nice back. They really like you. You're gonna break their heart. I can't believe you. Oh my God, what did you do to him? He looks so sad. And it's like, I mean, that stinks, but sometimes things happen and you got to be sad. And like, it's not your fault that someone's in love with you if you don't reciprocate it. Because I feel like the intensity of this person's emotions, I'm almost getting like love at first sight, or they just really cared from the jump. Yeah, we got Gorgeous and the Queen of Wands, and I just feel like they really cared about you. And I feel like some of you guys, it's almost like you were minding your business and they just came around and were obsessed with you. And then you're like, I gotta like reciprocate this. But because you felt like, because you guys are very sweet, you know. I want to get some Astro Dice. Get some Astro Dice for pile 4. Okay, so we got Taurus, we got the Moon, and we got the second house, aka Taurus, both ruled by Venus. And so that is a love house. It's also an earned income house, money house. Then we have the Moon, aka the 6th house, aka Cancer. And there is that vibe of having psychic abilities, and also with Cancer being very like the mother, the caretaker. And I feel like that's kind of something you guys have done. And I was going to say Cancer earlier because actually Cancer is a great example of having that shell. That's why it's the crab, but being soft inside. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, like it's almost like you wanted to take care of them. You felt bad for them. They seemed vulnerable. They seemed sad. And you were like, oh, like I got to respond to this. Like it was just the intensity of their emotions. Sometimes when someone feels like, especially when you're an empath, you have to be careful of this, is like when someone really cares about you, you will pick up on their emotion, or when someone doesn't like you, or when someone, whatever their emotions are. Like I am so susceptible to this. Oh my God, because I'm a Cancer moon. So I like when someone is, any emotions they have, I pick it up and I'll be like acting like I'm feeling something that is not from me at all, because it's like their feelings just come all over me. You know what I mean? Like they just rub off on me, and that's why I got to take a lot of spiritual baths and spiritual showers and sage, because it's like I'll carry it around. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you might do the same. And so I'm not saying none of your feelings were valid, but I feel like if you were to really think about this, their intensity of emotion that you guys picked up on is what precipitated your reciprocation of it. You know what I mean? And you might be like, well, why can't I stop thinking of them? Probably because they're thinking about you. Probably because they really think of you as like this incredible, the one for them. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that like their feelings don't matter, but you've got to be rooted in a place where you know you're what you want. And I don't know that you would want to be with this person. I feel like for some of you guys, you have a bigger destiny or something like that, to be honest. So you have some magical blessings that are going to come to you, and you might know that. Taurus, I mean, second house, Taurus is wealth, it's money. It's like, I love the second house. I mean, I have my Venus there, so it makes sense. I love it, and Jupiter there. But you know, that is a place of such great, amazing energy. It is love. It is money. It is all the good things in life. It's good food. It's like luxury. It's a beautiful house. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, like you have this beautiful dream life ahead of you, and maybe like, you know, deep down that this is not really what you want. You know what I mean? Let me get some more cards. So we got the Dragon's Jewel, inner conflict, morality, conscious choice, the Sacred Union, partnership, romance, the Hawk Prince, spirit communication, paying attention, the Resting Tree, patience, stillness, and the High Lord of gratitude and service, selflessness, humility, conscious action. So again, with the spiritual thing coming through in this reading as well, you guys are very spiritually aware and very psychic. I definitely think in general, you guys tend to get psychic downloads and also tend to pick up on other people's emotions and feelings on a very deep level. So I think that's not just limited to this situation, but to other things as well. But then also the Sacred Union, partnership, romance. But I'm really just getting the vibe that a lot of you guys, you felt drawn to this person, but it's almost like their wave of desire and the way they put you on a pedestal, the way they see you as so amazing has swept you away as like, wow, someone views me like this, like, oh my gosh, or like, how could I say no to this? Like this person, it's kind of like dream life, you know, like maybe other people would really want this attention from this person. How can I possibly turn this down when like so many people would love for someone to feel this way about them? You know what I mean? Maybe you have people around you that, you know, have had bad luck in love or something, and they say stuff like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would take him for granted, or, you know, like, oh, I would love for someone to look at me that way, and you feel guilty, like, am I heartless that I don't feel the same way? And I know you guys, I feel in this pile you have these feelings of your own that are reciprocal for them too, but I feel like if you're honest with yourselves, also it got initiated by them, and then it's kind of like the ball started rolling. And this is where, as an empath, you can get caught up into this. It's kind of like a whirlpool where like you're swimming along and then suddenly you're being sucked down, and then you're like, oh, what the heck? And a lot of those emotions don't come from you, they come from the other person, but it's very hard to learn to distinguish my emotions from this person's emotions because you're just feeling them. So I feel like if we're being fully bluntly honest, like, even though you guys do care about this person, a lot of it got kicked off by them, and then your absorption of it, and then you now are like, I'm stuck in it, but I'm kind of conflicted because I know deep down I don't know if this is for me. I might have a better future in store for me. And if that's the case, I think that, you know, the best thing you can do is trust that intuition. Even if everyone else is saying like, oh, that's mean, you're breaking his heart. Okay, but it's not for me, and I have to be on my path, and that wouldn't be nice for me either, to go with someone I don't love. So let me get some more cards. So we got boundaries, maturity, compatibility, and resolving conflict. So you guys definitely have a spiritual connection in the astral plane, that's for sure. And I feel like you kind of, maybe you put up a little bit of boundaries with them, or again, that's just your general vibe. And I almost feel like maybe people have told you negative stuff about that. Like, oh, well, you know, you're too harsh, or you're too closed off, or like, I can't believe you talk to him like that. Like, oh, you're always so mean, or like, you know, like you're always so mean to guys, or like he just wants to know you, or something like that. Like someone telling you like, oh, your boundaries are too high, or like, you're too judgmental, or like you should be open to this. And I feel like your guides want you to know that, like, while we do want to be open to things in life, I feel like you guys are very spiritually wise, and you do get downloads and stuff, so trust that. And if you feel the vibe of like, I don't necessarily want to open up to these people, that's okay. Like chances are 99% or 9 out of 10 times your spiritual intuition is going to be totally correct. So don't allow other people to make you second guess, because they might not have the wisdom you have, because I feel like you guys are very spiritually ascended, as I mentioned. And I do feel like you should also know you've done a lot of healing work on this person, like you can see from this pile. Like she's sending him love from a distance, and you guys have helped this person in many ways. So again, don't feel like you have to be guilty, like, oh, I didn't do enough, or I can't believe like I didn't date him and he was so heartbroken, or whatever, or I didn't date her and she was so heartbroken. Well, sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? Like, I mean, it is what it is. And I feel like you guys have been as kind and loving as you possibly can be, but you can't sacrifice yourself and your own destiny for that. So I think, you know, deep down, for some of you guys in this pile, that, you know, yes, you like this person a lot, but a lot of that's because of their energy that you're psychically picking up on. And then, you know, I don't know if this is the be all end all for you. I feel like a lot of you guys will have some options and choices of maybe someone better, and maybe you know that deep down, and that's causing some hesitancy. Because I almost feel like for some of you guys, when you first met this person, you were a little hesitant, or you had a little bit of a wall up, or you were like, I don't know. And it's like your initial intuition was correct. Your initial judgment is always, always, always correct. Even if someone can talk you out of it and make you second guess, it's always that, first impression that I feel like for us psychic people, so many people who have psychic abilities, they doubt them. And I'm always just like, if you do have the gift, then just listen the first time. Listen and don't second guess. And learning to do that, learning that voice inside of you is the most powerful. That is the key to starting to develop your psychic intuition. So, and I mean really powerfully. So let's get some more messages. Messages from this person to pile 4. Messages from this person, pile 4's person to pile 4. Messages from this person's person to pile 4. When it comes to matters of the heart, there is no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. And I do think that the message here is kind of like, you don't need to feel bad. Like, there is no right or wrong. You are entitled to follow your heart as much as anyone else is. It's not that this person's more into you, so like you have an obligation to be nice, you have an obligation to reciprocate. Like, no, that's not fair to you. So we also got, the past is now behind you. Release it and embrace new possibilities. A new path is now available to you. Follow it with faith. Sacred union, honor and treasure your relationship, for it is truly sacred. And you may not always understand why certain things happen. However, there is always a higher purpose to the events in your life. Through turmoil, a blessing will soon be revealed. So if you guys aren't together, I feel like it's like Spirit is saying like, that's okay, because there's something better for you guys ahead. And I do feel like you guys are going to have a beautiful love of a lifetime within this pile. Like, I feel like a lot of you guys have a serious like soulmate, incredible relationship ahead of you. So like, if it doesn't flow, it doesn't flow. Everything that's for you will flow. That's not to say everything will come easy, but it will flow. It will seem like, okay, this is flowing. If I'm in the energy of love, if I'm in the energy of bringing good things in and something is blocked, that's for a reason. You know what I mean? It's not to say, like, sometimes in life we got to try. But I just think if this has been removed from you, especially in romantic relationships, like, then that's okay, then that's for a reason. So I feel like you guys have another amazing relationship that's going to happen, that's just going to blow your mind and be so incredible. And so maybe you know that deep down and you're like, this isn't quite good enough for me. And that's okay. There's a lot of like nasty talk about like, oh, so you think you're better than this person? Or like, oh, well, it's not good enough for you. What are you, a princess? And it's like, yeah, I am a princess, actually. Actually, it's funny you ask. I am a princess and I deserve the best. So how about that? And not letting someone shame you into feeling like you've got to accept a certain thing, or if you don't accept it, then you're a jerk or you're entitled. Or like, oh, so you think you're better than everyone? It's like, no, I don't think I'm better than everyone, but I think I'm pretty dang great. So yeah, I am not accepting the trash. Whatever trash you try to give me, I will not take it. So take it elsewhere. It's not to say this person's trash. I'm not saying that, but if I know what I want, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, no one would attack you if like you were like, oh, hi, I'm at this restaurant and I want to order a pizza. No one would be like, oh my God, wow, this person's so entitled. Oh, so you can't eat the steak with broccoli? Oh, you think you're better than a steak with broccoli? Like, you'd be like, are you crazy? If someone did that to someone at a restaurant? Well, we do that all the time with other things in life. Like, someone doesn't really want to settle for something and people will say they're entitled, say they're crazy. And it's like, no, I just want the best thing for me, whatever that is. So anyway, I just think for some of you guys, you need to be given permission that if it didn't work out, you don't need to heal this person. You can heal them on the astral plane anyway. You've already been doing a lot of work up there anyway. I feel like you guys might wake up exhausted because you guys are like, again, I feel like you guys are astral travelers. You're like sleepwalking into dreams and helping people. And like, I feel like you guys are very spiritually ascended and powerful. So don't feel guilty. Send them love from afar. You can always envision someone surrounded in a bubble of white light if you're worried about them, if they're going through a hard time, which I feel like some of them might be, or if you just feel guilty, like surround them, imagine them surrounded in a bubble of white light and wish them the best for healing. But we don't have to take something we don't want. You know what I mean? And I know some of you guys are in this pile are going to be like, well, I do like him. I do have feelings for him, or I do like her. But it's like, I feel like, you know, deep down, maybe there's something else, or that a lot of the feelings you have for them, you picked up from them. It was their enthusiasm, the way they looked at you in their eyes with awe, that kind of won you over and kind of like you absorbed their energy impacted you. And the thing we want in life is to always be in control of our own energy and always looking through things through our own lens, not someone else's version. And someone else might say like, oh my God, that's amazing. You're so lucky. What? Oh my God, he's such a catch. But if I don't feel like, if it doesn't resonate deep in my heart as like, that's for me, that's my catch, I love that, then it really doesn't matter what anyone else says. You know, that's why you see so much of the time, like that we like some guy that everyone's like, oh, he's like a dream man. And then like he gets with someone and then cheats on them or something. And everyone's like, oh, I didn't know she was going through that. And it's like, yeah, because you didn't know. That's the thing. People don't know, but they always pass judgment. So if it's not resonating for you, that's a message from deep inside, you know? So anyway, I hope that resonates with you guys. This was like channeled really intensely. So let me know what you think in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, and make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up as well, and turn on those notifications, and make sure you're subscribed so you find out as soon as I post. Also, you can check out my Patreon. My last reading is a tipsy reading all about your future spouse. It was a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. Link is in my bio for that. And I think that's about it. I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Have an amazing day, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.